Hello.
All right,
Sega.
now we are live. What is
Right.
good,
Oh.
everyone? Snoochie Boochie Snarky Hoochies. I will eventually get tired of saying that someday. A day is not today. What is
We'll
good,
survive.
everyone? It is your old buddy BPM here. I have Chris as always, and friend of the show, and me and Max were talking about this lately. I've known each other for over a fucking decade and a half now.
Yeah, 2005, so
Yep.
16 years.
Yeah,
Dang.
shit.
Yeah.
CB artist, aka Max, aka the guy who actually did several of our emotes, including the foot alarm, the Brazil clapped. Max has been one of our friends and supporters since literally day one of this channel. And when we were getting this particular episode up in line, we asked him to come in, and because God, I think Max, um, while Max wasn't responsible for me finding this, I do have tons of memories in college of watching both this as well as Clone High
Oh
Ah.
yeah.
on DVD.
Did you know about Clone High before I showed it to you, or
I had
did
heard
I
about
show
it.
you Clone?
I had heard about it,
Okay.
but you. I remember you had the DVD of it, like the one that you couldn't get in the States. You had to import it from like French Canada.
Right. So I think, oh geez. So now I'm trying to remember when I did get that. I might have gotten it off of eBay, but I might have gotten it through Amazon through a third party seller. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, actually, now I think about it, I don't know if Amazon back then, it's been long enough where I'm not sure if third party sellers were that heavy on Amazon.
I
But
forget how
yeah,
you found
so
it, but I remember you had that, the critic, and like
Oh, the
yeah,
critic.
uh
yeah,
the Clerks the animated series were like always in rotation in our college townhouse.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
so yeah, really excited for this one because I'm gonna pull the curtains here a little bit. Generally, whenever we've prepared one of these episodes of Shorts and Jorts, Chris usually takes a little bit more time in kind of assessing the series, the meat of the movie that we're talking about. And I kind of like to put on my get my pickaxe, put on my miner's hat, and do a little bit of digging into the history of uh, whatever we're watching. Kind of look at what made it, what how did it come to be, fun facts and trivia, and generally the View Askew wiki is like a great place to go for this. The View Askew wiki for Clerks the animated series is like barren. There's like nothing there. They're like, yep, they made 6 episodes. ABC aired 2 of them. It did better in DVD, and I'm like, okay, I guess there's not a whole lot to go on here. And then I found an interview, a interview from May of last year, almost about a year ago. This came out, and this came out on Consequence.net, and it's Clerks the animated series, the definitive oral history, with
Ooh.
interviews of
Oh,
basically everyone involved in the making of this. And holy shit, I unearthed a fucking treasure chest of like the first part of this episode is going to be about how this series came to be, and buckle the fuck down, folks, because this is a wild goddamn ride.
I'm
This
excited.
is yeah, this may be our crazy episode to date if the title alone did not imply that.
Yeah. So the title of this podcast for the people who are watching at home and aren't watching it on Twitch right now, I've titled this episode "A GIF of Mickey Mouse fucking Silent Bob." This is relevant. This is relevant to the creation of Clerks the animated series, and I assure you, it will come up. So before I get into this whole story, Max, we've usually, every guest that we've had on here, we kind of, take a minute or two, introduce yourself, and talk about, I guess, when did you start getting into the Viewist universe and whatnot.
Oh well, well, first off, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And man, I started getting into it. I want to say the first movie I saw was Dogma, actually, when I
Oh,
was in
really?
middle school. And because my friend Renzo at the time, who, by the way, shouts out to Ren, he's the reason I'm into video game culture as much as I am. And I just want to say pop culture as much as I am. Um, so. he got me to see Dogma. I got to see, I think I might have seen Mallrats after. No, I might have seen Clerks and then Mallrats, and I loved Mallrats for a long time. And I remember when I showed it, I think I showed it to our roommates in college, Tom. I remember
Mm-hmm.
watching it and I was like, oh shit, this isn't hitting the same way that it did when I first saw it.
Oh, one
Mm-hmm.
And
fear.
We
yeah,
literally had that exact experience. So far of everything like that we've gone in and rewatched and had like oh, I wonder if this will hold up as good as I remember. Mallrats has definitely been the weakest
Yeah.
upon
Yeah.
rewatches.
and you know
More.
what? I really think that it's the vibe of Mallrats I remember more than necessarily the execute. I mean, like I remember the execution, and I remember at the time when it was like one of the first things you see at that age, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, sure, I guess." But it was, I think, me as a child loving going to malls and
Yep.
just wandering around and being a mall rat, and that really stuck out to me. And I was like, yeah, I like wandering around this area in this movie. But of course, that doesn't necessarily
Right.
make for a well executed film.
No.
We talked about this when we did Mallrats, but really the beauty of Mallrats is kind of when you're not really doing much and you sit down and you put it on and you watch it at home in your home TV. And when you have nothing to do, it's like, wow, this is literally better than nothing. But when you kind of have to sit down like in a theater and really watch it and put focus on it, is like, wow, this is not as good as I remember. Though I will
No.
say, I know I talked about this during our Mallrats episode, but Max was with me at the Alamo when they had the Mallrats screening for charity, where they had that fucking unbelievable cookie that had like a little bit of everything baked into it.
That's right. I forgot about that. Jeez, how long ago was that?
I tried to find the menu from it, and it was easily 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Everything's blending together at this point.
Um. So yeah. But Clerks, also any introductions on, just initial impressions on Clerks the animated series from both of you.
Uh, well, actually, I mean, yeah, when I saw that, I remember watching the cartoon with my buddy Ren, and I just remember laughing. It was also in middle school, and it's like, oh, this is really funny. And it was, I remember it was really funny seeing how they translated what they couldn't do in a movie into the show, and how they accentuated features like Randall being the foil to Dante, being more of just like a I'm gonna get Dante into as much garbage as possible, as egregiously as possible, really stuck out to me, and I thought that was really funny. And then obviously you can't have you can't have Jay and Silent Bob as drug dealers, so you have
Yeah.
them as so you have them as tricksters selling fireworks to kids. And I thought that was handled as well as you could, especially with being on
Right.
ABC as
ABC prime
well.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As the old man of the trio, I remember when this first aired on network television, watching that pilot and my friend circle and I not shut up about it, even though it was the fourth episode. And then
Uh-huh.
most of us missed the second episode, and then no more Clerks for a while because we couldn't. That was baby internet days, and I don't think we got to see the rest of that show until
It hit
Comedy
DVD.
Central. I want to say, yeah, Comedy
Oh
Central
yeah,
hit
and
DVD.
DVD.
Yeah,
Comedy Central and
yeah,
DVD.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
we're
then
gonna get into a
yeah.
whole lot about the network choice, because there are villains in this episode, and their names are Michael Eisner and Harvey Weinstein, as one could probably fucking expect.
It was also super jarring. Like I got this aired what 2000, right?
Yes.
It was wild to watch this in 2000 and a year later start reading Penny Arcade,
Yeah.
which also has a weird changes relationship to the show, which we'll get into probably next episode once we pull up like the show and its legacy. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, coming back to this was also a delight, to be honest. Minus some things here and there, but for the most part, it was positive.
Like a couple of things, it is definitely a relic of its time, and
Right.
I don't feel it's as, in some ways, being more egregious is also a little less egregious. I'm shocked that as much got in for ABC prime time as, I'm shocked they didn't. I'm shocked they got away with as much as they did.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
it was definitely weird. As Max brought up, yeah, Jay and Silent Bob couldn't sell drugs, but they
Hmm.
could drop the F slur like 6 times in an episode,
So much of it.
and like one of those episodes aired, and one of those episodes didn't air, and it was the one with the F slurs.
I don't remember
Like
which.
4 of them in a row.
Jay fires him. Was it Jay? No, was it Jay or no? It was Randall.
Randall. It
Also,
involves
yeah,
Randall
That's
being a
right. Yeah, I was
clerk,
gonna say.
yeah,
in England.
yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Also, I did not know that I didn't know what the Flintstone Schindler's List joke was not on broadcast TV because I
Oh,
only seen an
there's no
episode
way in
on.
hell.
Yeah,
There's no way in
yeah.
hell they were
That's
gonna
what
get
I,
away with that one.
that's what I learned today. Anyway,
Also the Challenger joke. Was that in any of the aired episodes?
I don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember because, like I said, I only saw episode 4 when it aired. And then nothing until it was on reruns on Cartoon Central and
Okay.
Adult Swim, and they let a lot more fly on those.
Was the fourth episode the one where they go to their high school reunion?
No, the fourth episode is
Fifth
when
one.
they get sued by Jay, and they go to
Oh.
court, and the jurors
Oh,
all
okay.
all stars.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Which,
Right.
oh man, that one had. Oh my god, that one had some stuff in it too.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we should start things off by talking about how at least me and Chris rewatched them, because I have literally no idea where my copy of I literally have no idea where my copy of the Blu-rays and DVDs are. So
Okay.
we watched all of them
Yeah.
on YouTube.
I own and I know where my copy of Clerks the animated series is. It's like 5 feet away to my right. That being said, I was lazy. Also, it's hot here in New York City, so I decided to lock myself in my bedroom and watch it with my AC on. And I didn't like. I could also like put it in my PS3 and watch my TV, but I chose fucking YouTube
I did
because there's literally a channel called like Clerks the animated series channel,
I did the
Uh-huh.
exact same thing you did.
which I'm really glad I did because again,
Which is also probably why you thought that was
yeah.
episode 4, because they definitely mislabeled it on that.
Yeah, I also put my headphones on because, again, Randall's F slur rant. My partner is 2 queer men living here, and we don't need to be hearing that because in context, it sounds terrible. Out of context, it sounds even worse.
So yeah, it was not quite as interesting a channel as Russian Coochie Smoocher, but we
Once
will
again,
we will make do. So yeah, we
that'd be
rewatched
cool.
all of these by
Yes.
5-part 4-minute long clips on YouTube.
It was
on
like
the-
watching.
I was gonna say that's exactly how I watched it too.
Right, it was like watching anime in 2006 on YouTube.
All it was
During
missing was the
Lagan episode
Espanol. Yeah, all it was missing was the Spanish subtitles, and it would have been
Yes.
straight out of anime.
Yes.
Um,
That being said, if you do want to watch the show, used copies are available and priced reasonably on eBay and Amazon. Also, digital versions are available, I think, on Amazon and iTunes. I was just lazy, and I'm not buying the show again for a second time. I like it, but not that much.
yeah, same here. Definitely, support the original artist when possible.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that for
not
Dogma
a-
because
it's-
fuck you, Harvey
no.
Weinstein. But
I mean, I can, but yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Oh, yeah.
A little backstory about the behind the scenes. Today, when I woke up, I had a rough day, y'all. I had internet bullshit I had to deal with. That it's not resolved. Hopefully tomorrow. I had to take my cat to the vet. She's fine, but I am poor for the experience. But the worst had to be the hate crime that Tom made me watch this morning, where he mentioned the Lost Clerks pilot, and I thought he meant the first episode, which because it's referred to as the Lost pilot.
Mhm.
And then I clicked the bad YouTube link he sent me, and it was not. Tom, take it from here because I'm gonna get angry the more I talk.
All right, so a little bit of the behind the scenes of Clerks the animated series. So the year is like 1995. Kevin Smith had just finished up Mallrats, and he kind of found out through his talent agency that they were casting and filming Clerks the sitcom, Clerks the show, and he's like, I didn't know about that. They're like, yeah. So when you signed your contract, you kind of signed off the option to Miramax to do a movie, spin-off, and show. So they were filming a sitcom that literally Kevin was not involved in at all. And he was like, well, can I go and watch them make it and, see what's going on? So he ends up going, meeting the scriptwriter and director of it, and the guy is like, "Oh yeah, no, we're going with this." And he's like, "Oh man, I have some great ideas. I have some great scripts that I could write." And the guy didn't have the heart to tell him that you almost never write scripts for a show that only has a pilot, because you're probably not, more than likely, you're probably not going to see the light of day with all these shows. For every one show that makes it on the air, there's like 10 pilots that just get fucking tossed. So one of the ideas was actually the later became a animated series episode on Outbreak and with the monkey. So first of all, Clerks the sitcom. It was your standard three camera laugh track bullshit sitcom where the only relation it has to Clerks is that a character is named Dante and a character is named Randall, and a character is named Veronica.
One works at a video store, one works at a quick stop esque place. Clerks, again, we talked about Clerks the first episode. It's aged well, and we all really liked it. I was not aware this thing existed until this morning. I watched it, and I had to stop after the first 2 minutes and then go back. It took me. It's a 20-minute pilot. It took me an hour to watch because I just got so frustrated. Like I just need to not be here right now. The anger came over me. I was yelling at Tom Messenger for exposing me to this. I was yelling at my phone. I was yelling at my cat because she wasn't killing me. If she had came over and clawed my throat out, that would have been a much better viewing experience for me. It's the devil. It's the Christian devil in pilot form. I hate it. And Jim Brewer, who I usually don't mind, was in it. And he's Randall, and that's not bad casting. And he does okay work with the worst dialogue possible.
It feels like if there was an alternate reality, if there was like a multiverse Randall, Jim Brewer could have pulled it off.
Right.
And ironically, the character that they hired who looked and acted the most like Dante wasn't playing Dante. He was playing an ice cream shop clerk.
Yeah, little Randall.
No, Todd, the guy who played fucking Endless Mike from The Adventures of Pete and Pete, which is the only thing I recognize this guy from.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't. I don't understand why we got two Randalls. I also don't understand why Tom Brady played Dante, but whatever. I guess before he became before he became a fucking multi-championship quarterback, he decided to be not a bootleg's clerk actor.
It's jokingly called Saved by the Clerks because it looks like an episode of Saved by the Bell.
Right.
And it is just, there's no Jay and Silent Bob. There's like none of the humor, none of the jokes come back. Literally, like the fact that it was already being filmed when Kevin Smith found out about it is really all that you need to know about it. But it was like they immediately were like, nope, this isn't getting picked up. And really, the only saving grace of the existence of this is because it was so bad. It made something like when they were like, "Hey, Kevin Smith wants to make a show and actually like write for it," people were like, "Okay, well, we can't get any worse than that. Let's go ahead and fuck it, give it a shot."
You're right.
Also, in a very interesting way, we kind of got to look at the time period because around 1995, the idea of an adult cartoon was like, they were like, well, Simpsons is the only one that can do that. We're never gonna get another. Any show that kind of tried to do the adult cartoon thing besides The Simpsons kind of came and went. Even if they were good shows, they came and went. So you had stuff like Dr. Katz.
We had two exceptions to that, Tom, though. At this point, South Park was running.
South Park and King of the Hill were not up and running yet. This is 1995.
South Park. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant when Clerks animated series.
Yeah, when they actually when Kevin Smith was pitching it initially as an animated show, they were like, when people thought adult cartoons, they were like, well, we have The Simpsons and everything else is Dr. Katz, professional celebrity therapist. So
there's
like,
also Beavis and Butthead too, right?
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem was also Beavis and Butthead was also getting MTV in a lot of fucking legal trouble.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
So couple of years pass. By now, he's done Chasing Amy. He's done done Dogma, and yeah, as Chris was saying, in that little bit of time, the world, two big things happened in 1997, and that was King of the Hill started and South Park started, and both of them were fucking hits. So now all of a sudden,
Yes.
every network wants to kind of get into the adult cartoon game, and they were like, "Hey, let's." I think it was his agent told Kevin Smith, like, "Hey, let's try giving Clerks the animated series another run. I think we may actually be ready for it now." And they started work on it. They pitched it to every network they could, and I think they came in with a couple of jokes in their back pocket for it. And almost every network was like, "This is really funny. We're not going to do it. It's really funny though, but we're not going to do it."
Right.
The
Except
one network that was like, "We are fucking down. This is great," was UPN, because UPN at the time had just done Dilbert, and it was doing good for them. So they're like, "We want to get on that fucking game. We want to get this. We want to get ahead of the curb with how good King of the Hill, South Park, Simpsons." They're like, "We see the trend. It's going up." So they're like, they were like, "Yeah, let's go. We'll give you 13 episodes, guaranteed to air all of them, and like, you have almost full creative control." And Smith and Scott Mosier were like, "This is really good. We should probably take this offer." And then comes fucking Harvey fucking Weinstein. For those who don't know, yeah, more booze than usual. More booze than usual, and believe me, he deserves every fucking boo. But in 1993, a little something happened, and Miramax was bought by a particular company that has a habit of buying a lot of things. The Disney Corporation bought Miramax. And what does the Disney company own? Why, it owns ABC. Which is really interesting, because they pitched the show to ABC, and ABC said, "Fuck you." But the head of UPN at the time, Dean Valentine, I believe, I might be a little wrong on the name, but it was something to that effect, was actually a former employee of Paramount, and who was the president of Paramount, Michael Eisner. So Eisner saw his former colleague, make a fervent offer on this show. And it was like, "Oh yeah, well, might be something in on it. Maybe what was the movie? What was the movie he did again?" Michael Eisner had no idea what the fuck Clerks was about. He had literally no clue. But he's like, "Well, someone else is buying it. Guess I gotta make him an offer or something." I don't know. Which is very Michael Eisner MO.
right.
So Michael Eisner makes him an MO, and Michael Eisner makes him an offer, and it's 6 episodes, not guaranteed to air.
Also, I have to add one thing. The one thing that won them over, aside from a ton more money, was the fact that they told Smith that UPN would be dead in a year.
Yeah.
Which, yes and no. Yes, because obviously UPN no longer exists in the form today. No, because UPN eventually got a new show. Wasn't animated, but was the mega hit they needed as they started WWE SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Which, unlike Disney, was a profitable. Clerks animated series was massively profitable for UPN. Also, led to The Rock being on Star Trek, I think Deep Space Nine, which is this episode we will never touch because this is a Clerks podcast and not a Star Trek podcast. I'm sure those exist.
It should also be noted that Michael Eisner trying to predict something in 1999 is the funniest sentence.
Right. At this point, I think ESPN was the only thing profitable for Disney.
And even then, ESPN was basically carrying them. The Disney decade was fucked. The only way it could have been worse is if he said, "Let's premiere the show in France," and call it Euro Clerks. So, um, they're like, well, this ABC deal sounds terrible. UPN sounds really good. And Weinstein's like, well, fellas, Miramax is owned by Disney. Don't you guys want to be do you guys want to be the big fish in the small pond? Don't you want to be the, I don't know, little fish in the bigger pond? At the time, by the way, ABC is like dead fucking last in
Right.
ratings. They are nowhere. Any glory that they had was long fucking gone. So, like, basically, Weinstein kind of pressured them into taking the ABC deal, which was the worst deal, and pretty much, not to spoil too much, but it kind of sealed the fate of the show, because ABC was without a doubt the worst choice for them to take.
Yes. I'm trying to look at what their big shows were in 1999. Because I know there is
There's a show that
two guys,
yeah.
a girl, and a pizza parlor reference in there.
There is.
But
There is. A lot of their TGIF stuff was still popular around that
Drew
time,
Carey
too,
show,
right?
like Drew Carey
the
show,
Drew Carey
Wow.
show
was
yes.
which was already like in year 4. Like,
I would say, yeah. I
TGIF
guess
had long
yeah.
since been the ass putting asses in seats. Like that hadn't been happening for a long time. So yeah. So they start kind of making the show, and let's see. Let me get to my notes here.
Oof.
So
Okay.
for a while,
I'm sorry to cut you off, Tom. They did have one big hit in 1999, and that was "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire."
oh, we will get to that, because this was being done right before Regis's cocaine fueled nightmare comes into the picture. So
Dharma and Greg.
yeah. So they start getting a team together to work on the show, and we'll get into it in a bit, but this show had some heavy fucking hitters on it who would eventually be, make big names for themselves in animation and sitcoms. Their lead writer was a writer on Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and is now the showrunner for Veep. All, like, fucking top tier shows.
Right.
Character designer, basically, like, almost everyone on the team would eventually go and make, like, Kim Possible. Some people worked on
Right.
Danny Phantom.
Yeah, it was Steven Silver, right?
Yeah.
Who is
Character designer.
this show looks great, and Steven Smith Steven Silver rather is a fucking fantastic artist. And yeah, fucking Kim Possible also looks really good. Danny Phantom's a show I never watched because fuck Butch Hartman, but
Agree with that.
fucking yeah, no, like Steven Silver, like again, like when they made all the weird like Kevin Smith universe in action figures, I'm glad they paid Silver to do everything in his style, because those toys still look very good, even though they're like there's 4 pieces of plastic that don't move.
But yeah, they also got like, they got people who worked on like, oh my god, I'm blanking on his name, but like the man who designed Harley Quinn, which might just appeal.
Sorry, Paul Dini wrote an episode or two for Clerks.
Yes, he did, and
Yes.
I don't know. Kevin Smith might just have an attachment to the character of Harley Quinn. Something tells me about that.
So what's weirder though? Quick side note: Kevin Smith naming his daughter Harley Quinn, or Paul Dini being so horny for Santana that he married a girl who is a magician slash looks like a whole bunch like Santana, like a whole bunch.
Can't blame a man for that. Can't blame a man for that.
Yeah, I think Paul Dini takes the cake. But you have a note from that.
So ABC goes full in on this. They're happy with what they're seeing. They gave them an ad on the Super Bowl, which is the most expensive minute of commercial airtime you can fucking get. They gave them a 15-second ad that was written by a person who had no idea what the fuck Clerks was about. They used the word slacker like 5 times. Like,
Yep.
and the only clip they played, and apparently they used this clip all over the place, was the clip of Silent Bob NJ beaning a firecracker with a baseball bat.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this.
Slackers and firecrackers. That's,
Right, kids. That's what kids love.
mm-hmm. So the ad comes out at the Super Bowl, and they're like, coming in March, coming in spring, which is going to be important. Uh, people are gearing up for it, and then Regis Cocaine Philbin enters the picture, and he makes a little show called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, a little show, big pile of cocaine. ABC takes off like a bus going 55 miles per hour that can't slow down, or else Regis Philbin's very cocaine-induced heart is going to explode. R.I.P. Regis Philbin, you died as you live, snorting a huge pile of cocaine.
I think I saw that movie. I think it was called The Bus That Couldn't Stop.
The talk show host that couldn't shut up. Yes, I've seen that movie too. All of a sudden, ABC goes from bottom of the list, top of the list. Everyone can't get enough of it. They can't get enough of Regis Philbin talking about trivia, going fucking ham sandwiches for this. All of a sudden, they don't give a flying fuck about what some guy who talked about 37 dicks has to say about the show. They care about Regis. They care about getting Regis up as much as possible. How many episodes of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire can we fit into one day? People are going nuts for this. And that's when shit started going bad. So they made 6 episodes of this. ABC did 3 things that were basically nails in the coffin for this show actually getting a dedicated audience. One, they moved the premiere date from spring to summer. Yep. Now, back in the days when TV schedules actually mattered and things didn't get released on Netflix whenever the fuck they wanted, starting a show in the summer was basically a death sentence. There has been one show that has actually been started in summer and made it, and that was Seinfeld. If you've ever watched a show like The Office or Parks and Rec, and you're like, wow, that first season was really weird, it was short and not good and felt really rushed, those were shows that started in the spring. If a show started in the summer, it literally got 4 episodes. Season 1 of Seinfeld was like 4 episodes, and it wasn't good. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't very good. So by moving them from spring to summer, it basically made it going from running an uphill race to running an uphill race barefoot on tar. Like, it was impossible. It would have been impossible. Even if they got every episode aired, it would have been impossible. Secondly, they started hitting them with notes upon notes upon notes upon notes, because now they're like, well, fuck it, our most popular show is family friendly. We have to be careful with, we gave a show to the Who guy, we gave a show to the 37 Dicks guy. Oh my god, what's the fucking matter with us? We gotta censor the show as much as possible. Some of these notes we'll get into as we get into each individual episode, but oh my god, some of these notes they'd be hilarious if they weren't legit. So basically, it killed a lot of the comedy that they were trying to go for, and just the kick in the dick. By this point, they knew this show's not going to get renewed. We're dead in the water. They only played 2 of the episodes that they made, and they played them out of order. Because they're like, hey, we're writing these shows in succession, so reoccurring gags is a very popular thing. Gags made in episode 1 and 2 get referenced multiple times in the show. They wrote episode 1 to be like a legitimate pilot that kind of introduced characters, introduced dynamics, a thing a good show would do. And they aired episode 4, which had no pretext, no preamble. Right. So people who were watching it, who, even if they saw the movie Clerks, were like, what the fuck is going on? This is weird. So yeah, that ended up being so they were like, you know what, we did what we could, let's just put it to rest. And then, much like Mallrats, he put it on DVD, and it took off. Oh, also, I completely forgot about this. There's theories going around that ABC purposely wanted to kill the show. So they showed they're like to determine what where to put the show. They'll hold focus groups. Focus groups are fucking terrible, by the way. They tell you almost nothing. The focus group that they would have for Clerks, you would think they would bring like the 18 to 30, 35 male demographic,
Right.
who the show is kind of written for. No, they did a a focus group that was set to like watch a romantic comedy, and then they showed Clerks in addition to that. So what you had was a bunch of 30-year-old Karens watching a show that had no female characters in it, aimed at men in their mid-20s. Of course they fucking hated it.
Right.
Also, when they finally did air the first pilot, they aired it on the same night that a rivaling network aired Survivor, the first episode of a little show called Survivor, and they delayed the opening of the episode because of the NBA All-Stars game, which ran until like 9:50 at night. So
Yep.
Clerks debuted at 9:50 p.m. because of a delay of an All-Star game. They didn't have a
Wow.
fucking prayer in hell.
That
Yeah.
sounds so deliberate. There are too many things working against it.
Sure.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
So where does this all tie in? Well, this tied into someone made a GIF on the View Askew forums of Mickey Mouse fucking Silent Bob. Someone made it, put it in there, and Kevin Smith made the quote-unquote mistake of replying to the thread, saying, "It's not that bad. Come on, take it down." Because Kevin Smith at the time was so angry about all this, he basically went on a ill-advised rant that was like, "Man, Disney fucked us. This was terrible." And then he realized that like, oh shit, they can read my post. Fuck. How do I delete this? I'm sorry. Someone already replied to that with the gif of Mickey Mouse fucking Silent Bob. He replied to that gif, which only made it more active and more seen. So he got a memo from Michael Eisner, which I really hope he has framed, from Michael Eisner and Bob Iger. That's like, can you please take down this image? And he's like, don't you know how the internet works? I can't do that. By the way, after Weinstein kind of pushed them into the deal with ABC, it wasn't like a set deal. They had to go to New York and actually re-pitch the show to ABC, but instead of pitching it to a network executive, a mid-level network executive, he had to pitch it to Eisner and Bob Iger themselves while Weinstein was in the room with them, and Michael Eisner apparently laughed at one joke.
Oh, God.
And it was the Flintstones Schindler's List joke.
Of course. The one joke they cut from network TV.
Uh-huh.
Can't imagine why.
I am almost positive that he laughed and was like, "Don't tell anyone I laughed at that." So yeah,
Oof.
that is the history, and yeah, this is about a half hour, but that's about what I expected.
Right.
All of this, by the way, if you want to like read this in more detail, again, I recommend going to the consequence.net and looking up the oral history of Clerks. There's also a video. So I did all this research, wrote all this notes, and then I did a quick Google search before I'm on my way to work. And after hearing none of this, I found a video called "What Happened to Clerks: The Animated Series" that came out about 8 months ago by a very talented YouTuber called Ariana Alexis, who basically summarized every single thing that I had gathered together very eloquently and another passionate Kevin Smith fan. I'm also going to drop a link to that in chat. I recommend giving this video a watch if you're interested in, because I'm sure, even in my quick run over, I'm sure I'm missing something or forgetting something. So definitely check that. Check both the link that Chris dropped in chat as well as this video. It will provide more information that I may have missed. But it's definitely I thought I came into this knowing every single thing that I could possibly know about Clerks the Animated Series, and I was dead wrong. So it's definitely interesting. Check it out.
Thank you. Yeah, this is awesome.
God, I'm scrolling through the consequence article, and nothing kills me more than they acquired Dilbert. This is perfect. What a great night of programming. Anime on UPN. Dilbert and Clerks. It's like, wow. Also wrong. Also very wrong.
Uh-huh.
I encourage no one to watch Dilbert the animated series because it is bad. Loud Howard aside.
So yeah, now that we've gone through all of that, we can actually ask one question: Is it safe?
Is what safe?
Is it safe?
I told you, Albert, it's safe.
I don't know.
So, let's get into the first episode. I have to actually break up the list because I keep forgetting
Yes.
the very long names of every episodes. So episode 1 is Leonardo returns and Dante has an important decision to make.
Do we know who reads the intro of these episodes? By the way, you know, Clerks is
Yes.
like the whole. Who is it?
Yes, we do. It is Kevin Michael Richardson.
Okay,
Does
like,
all of the he is the Mauler twins on Invincible.
thought so. Okay. Okay,
He
yeah,
has
the minute you
done
said that
stuff
name,
for Cleveland Show, American Dad.
Yes.
Okay. He
Very
is also the new voice of Dr. Hibbert.
Oh.
Oh.
Very good. Very good. Also, was Wonderlands and Wasteland a reference to something, or because I heard that I was like, what the fuck is that?
Let me look that up.
Right, because that was something that I mentioned like immediately, and I was like, what the fuck is hell is
There
that?
are a lot of as they call it, jokes for three in Clerks the animated
Right.
series, which is like a joke that only the person who wrote it is gonna get.
It felt very Archer before there was Archer.
Yeah.
Because these episodes, they go by lightning quick and they don't give you time to like let a joke fucking like sit,
No.
which I'm not complaining about. Like it'll fire it off like right that. It's very smart writing. It's very funny, but like there's no breathing room, and it's like most of the time it works. Episode 3, I thought was kind of weak, but we'll get to that when we get to episode 3. I also do like it being this is the lost pilot. This is very bad. The previous in Clerks gag where it's just like cuts to dead air would kill me. Completely forgot about that one. I was dying. Where it's just like previous in Clerks.
Also interesting to note is the pre-warning that no celebrities endorse this show and all the subsequent version of that were both the combination of people in the show wanting it to look like South Park,
Right.
as well as there were actual genuine concerns that they could be sued if so like one of the notes was actually like one of the things like all celebrity voices are impersonated, we must rise America and kill all celebrities, and someone was like, you can't do that because if a celebrity dies this week their family could sue us.
Sorry, what'd they say? They made fun of them? Let's rise up and make fun of them? Or something like that?
Yeah, so they had to change it
that's
to let's rise up and make fun of our celebrities instead.
Yes.
Yeah, there are a lot of visual gags in that show that you like are very in jokey. Like I know Ian Maxtone Graham is in like a visual gag in one of the later episodes.
He is.
Who's a famous writer for The Simpsons. But there's a lot of just small stuff that, well, thankfully doesn't really matter at a surface level, but they definitely tried to pack in a lot of stuff into each little thing they wanted to do there, especially with the allotted time. Like you could tell they're just trying to go at as fast a clip as they can.
Yeah. So it starts off with my first note is, God, this looks like Penny Arcade, which is the other way around, but that's a different talk for a different day. And then the Is It Safe gag, which what a good intro.
Yeah, so like I kind of said, everything kind of keeps coming back to comics, and literally Kevin Smith got people to keep joining in on this project. by talking to them about how much he loves comics. So the lead, the lead animators were like really like the whole like heavy lining style, and they were like, well, we know exactly what look we're gonna give. I think one of the notes that they had was like they wanted to go by the whole Looney Tunes philosophy of every character, if you put them in a silhouette, you'll be able to tell who they are. So like
Smart.
Jay has a very S curve to his body. Um, Silent Bob has like big block but tiny little stubby legs.
Yes.
And he's like, my legs aren't that stubby, and they're like, look at you.
Shut up, Kevin Smith is the 99.
So yeah, very, very. It really felt like everyone who was involved in this project really enjoyed their time working, and really like, the more and more I hear from it, the more and more like it really sounds like it goes by the whole kind of cartoonist ideal, that other noted piece of shit, but a broken clock is right twice a day piece of shit John Kay really tried to hammer into people in the 90s, which is, if you're doing animation, you should also be kind of a little invested in cartooning and script writing and like the other assets of it, instead opposed to having like a person who's only there to do the art. Every artist also contributed a couple of jokes. Every person who wrote for the show had a foot in the comics industry. And really the nicest thing you can say about Kevin Smith, particularly at that time, was that he really never let his ego. He acted really humble on set and always was kind of like was willing to listen to advice. He kind of did the assumption that everyone in the room knew more than him. So if he wrote a monologue that was too long and someone was like, "Hey, this is really wordy," expecting him to be kind of a diva about it, he would just kind of go, "Oh yeah, you're right. Let me cut that."
Good. Yeah, when you're an animator, you have to be an actor. I'm taking an animation course right now at SVA, and there's so many things you have to take into consideration, and especially in this show, you see really particular timing, especially for when people move, when they say one thing or another. I mean, it's like with any show, like The Simpsons did that phenomenally, and like this does a really good job with that too, and it all matters. Every little thing you don't think matters actually matters.
Mm-hmm. And even like listening to the audio commentary for some things and finding like one writer and one animator, like his favorite joke is just the way Randall would turn to look off like the back of his chair, like to do something like this. If those little
Yeah.
details could make one of them laugh, it's gonna make somebody else laugh. So it is a little bit of doing it for you.
Definitely. Absolutely. And you can see soulless animation. I see soulless animation a lot, and it's just like it's very stiff. You can tell it's by the numbers, just like this is how we do it. I see a lot in a lot of anime, in modern anime that I see. I'm just like, man, there's nothing going on here with these. They're just getting from point A to point B, and it's just like there's nothing in between. And even modern animation from anywhere, it's like comedic timing is very important and needs to be talked about mid production.
Mm-hmm.
It's, it's hard to get it right, and so when somebody gets it anything right, it's an achievement.
Honestly, a lot of people I found had that hit that mark the best were a lot of like online cartoonists, people in Newgrounds, if they were making edgy cartoons that dropped the N bomb or had the 2000 equivalent of Elsa getting pregnant fucked by a snowman. Uh, they were doing some decent voice acting timing
Yeah.
joke drops. But yeah,
Definitely.
most importantly, you also had a surprisingly strong. Speaking of voice acting, you had one of the strongest voice acting crews in this, for like from everything to main roles to even like little minor roles. Like
Yeah.
the first line
Tara
of the hero we
Strong.
talked about, Tara Strong, Brian Posehn.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And also, like, fucking Dante and Rando lend themselves to voice. I mean, also Smith and Muse also lend themselves super well to voice acting. Like, those dudes are fucking hilarious. Like, everything is just well performed. It's, it hits the right beats. Again, it sucks the show fucking was on ABC because, like, it is it's like one of the best animated series that didn't have a chance to breathe, and it sucks. And hopefully we'll get more. We'll talk about that next episode anyway. But you're saying, Tom?
I think one of the most interesting characters to talk about is Leonardo. Uh,
Do you know his secret origin?
yes, I do, but I have talked a lot so far, so I will
Okay.
let you handle this one.
Okay, so originally, Leonardo was supposed to be played by Alan Rickman, who would return to work Karen Smith with Dogma. But then he got redesigned to look more like fucking his villain from fucking Die Hard, whose name at the time.
Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber, and Rickman's like, no, absolutely not. I don't want to repeat performances. And then ABC saw how much money he wanted, and they were like, "Ooh, no, absolutely not. We're not paying for Alan Rickman." So they replaced him with Alec Baldwin.
Who really brought his own like edge to the character
Yes.
that
Minus-
I really want to hear those Rickman. I know those tapes
Yes.
exist somewhere, and I really want to
Yeah.
hear them. But
Right.
hearing Alec Baldwin do basically, I love the joke of Leonardo is that he tries to be like a suave European villain,
Right.
but he can never escape New Jersey.
Right, he's like gay New Jersey Mr. Burns,
Yeah,
which those jokes were also not particularly good. But we'll get to that.
No.
there are a lot of jokes that don't land, but again,
Yeah.
it's 2000. We're given
Right.
just a little bit of
Right, 2000. He's Kevin Smith.
yeah.
Yeah, well, you get that '90s residue
Mhm.
still on you a little bit. Get
Um,
that.
I also love the when it starts. The Clerks is filmed by a live studio audience. It's a dumb joke, but it makes you laugh every time.
There are a lot of really rapid fire dumb jokes like that I really love.
Right,
I
and
think it kind of like a.
Go on.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. I think you're about
I'll
to say
say,
the same thing.
and much like the movie, the show begins up with Dante waking up in a pile of crap. It's his day off, and he has to go open the quick stop.
And also, you get the rule of three of dumb questions people ask in the morning rush, including, "Can you vulcanize my tires while I wait?"
Tires. Yes. Are you open? Someone throws a firework. Is the child's name Silas?
Yep, Silas.
Yes.
What a weird name, random name for a random child. And then when Dante asks why the small child throws the firework into the thing, he says, "Jay said you wouldn't care because you work in a soulless job," and goes on a long fucking dialogue that I am not going to repeat because I stopped writing. I stopped paying attention after the word care because it goes on for like a minute.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Something about a minimum wage hellhole as well.
Yes. Just all really just punching down on poor Dante.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dante, but they said you wouldn't care because your expectations for a fair deal have been dulled after years spent at the soul-crushing less than minimum wage hellhole. Got you there.
Yeah.
There. Yes. And then we find out that noted drug dealers are now noted fireworks salesman Jay and Silent Bob. Also, it's weird to see those two show up early, and it's also weird to see them be PG. As at this point now, we had seen Jay and Silent Bob show up 3 times in Kermit Works, and Jay, just the worst.
Mm-hmm.
He is absolutely disgusting.
Right, and now it's like, haha, we like monkeys and selling fireworks to children, but also again, it works. Like, it doesn't feel out of character. It's just weird that we got PGJ.
For a show that drops a lot of gay jokes and a couple of F slurs, I'm shocked. Like, one of them, only like 2, I think 2 gay jokes come from Jay.
Right.
Yeah,
I would
most
have
are
thought
just
they
from
would have
Randall.
been. Yeah, almost all of them come from Randall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Rando and Leonardo, but yeah, it's fucking.
Obviously not the same thing, but would you equate this show like to be the last of? Remember how RoboCop got a cartoon?
Yes,
and
Rambo.
Oh
Is
my
this like one of
god,
the-
yeah.
is this one of the last of those? Even
The
though it's
R-rated.
still, yeah,
Yes, because we started getting R-rated, because like it looks like Black Dynamite, which was an R-rated movie. It also got an R-rated cartoon show. I think Clerks, yeah, I think had this had Smith not pulled the trigger, this would have ended up on Adult Swim like 3 years later.
Yeah.
This would have had the same fate as home movies, where it would have been on UPN, got canceled and resurrected.
God, that Home Movies was on UPN.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Yeah, and then it's a shame that he took that ABC deal because it could have easily been another show that was resurrected on the network. But you're right; it's the last of the rated R movie franchises with a PG cartoon.
Toxic fucking Avenger.
Right.
Toxic
Yep.
Avenger got
Yeah.
a G-rated Saturday morning cartoon show.
Yeah.
Every single thing Trauma has done is like the furthest thing from family friendly. The only way Trauma is family friendly fun is because literally in it a family will occasionally fuck each other. That's the only like Trauma. I love Trauma films. I fucking love Trauma films, but the original Toxic Avenger is holy shit. If I have a kid, they're not seeing it until they're like fucking 15. Like
it was called the Toxic Crusaders, and it was pretty funny if I remember correctly.
yeah.
Had a lot of that Eat the Cat-esque humor.
Yeah, it was shockingly good, and I remembered seeing it, and I remember bit of a tangent, but I remember back when I went to the Warped Tour in fucking 1999, Lloyd Kaufman from Troma had a booth where he was just autographing movies. Where my poor dad, who was my ride back from the Warped Tour, basically spent that entire time hanging out by that booth watching like Toxic Avenger, Tromeo and Juliet, and picked me up a couple of those DVDs, and I remember watching it and going, "This is way different than I remember."
Yeah, I watched that that live action movie because I seen the cartoon first, had a few of the action figures, and then watching that show, I'm like, should we be watching this?
Toxie gets it in. Toxie gets it in.
Someone mentions the Spawn cartoon, which I feel like that was the opposite because that comic wasn't exactly like the worst comic, and then they got a sick anime adaptation. It was Madhouse did the animation of that show, and that was full of F-bombs and nudity and also Keith David acting his ass off.
I also see Cannibal the Musical being mentioned. I still fucking love Cannibal the Musical, and it blows my fucking mind that Trey Parker and Matt Stone made that like in their junior year of college.
It does explain a lot about those two, though.
Yeah.
Considering their line went from like that to South Park to Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Also, basketball's in there somewhere, but I'm not gonna hold that against them.
Oh, if I could do a podcast on basketball by itself, I absolutely
Join
would. I
us
still love that movie.
In 3 years, we do Jorts Park, in which Tom and I study the histories of Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Quick aside, I've actually been rewatching some of seasons 3 and 4 just because it popped up on my HBO Max, and some of those episodes are still fucking funny. Still really funny. The Great Expectations episode tickled me in places I didn't know I could be tickled.
Additional note: the last time I was in Orleans, my now girlfriend and I watched the episode where Cartman teach inner city kids.
Oh yeah,
just like teaches them how to cheat. Very good episode. Very good episode.
Yeah, because it's been the entire time fucking making fun of the Patriots and Bill Belichick, and I fucking love it. I didn't expect to see that roast
I'm
there,
not sure
but
what it is. But fucking them just going, "How do I reach those keys?" is the funniest fucking thing in the world.
All right.
Anyway,
getting back animation tangent aside.
Right.
we will go back to it if we have the time. Because
Yes.
I could talk about animation and the history of animation literally for this entire episode. The rest of the show is pretty much just going to be us talking about some of our favorite moments from the show because literally like almost everything here is worthwhile. Like I didn't even take any notes for this part because
I have some notes. Don't worry.
Because everything to me is like it's so. If I started taking notes, I wouldn't stop. I love the line of Leonardo being schooled at Eton and Oxford, but both of them are still in New Jersey.
Yes. You also forgot an important thing. So our good friend, the Is It Safe guy, Brian Hussein's character, runs outside, somehow catches on fire, is admitted to a Burt ward and a psychiatric hospital, is freed, and ends up exploding via one of Jay's fireworks. It's Randall's fault that Dante got called in. And then there was a weird 2 guys and girl on a pizza parlor plug.
Yeah.
Also, holy shit, why does Kevin Smith hate Canada?
Just I want to say it's something Degrassi related.
Okay, but he loves the Degrassi.
Also,
Um,
really quick aside, completely
okay.
unrelated. They just dropped the first Guilty Gear Strive DLC character, and it's Gold
Good
Lewis
stuff.
Dickinson, my boy, and I'm so fucking excited.
Yeah.
We can continue.
To get back on topic, did you hear about what was going to happen with the Canada plotline?
No, I did not.
So eventually, had Smith had his way, they would have revealed the King of Canada that Leonardo talks to once every week when they have phones.
Oh yes.
And do you know who was supposed to play the King of Canada?
Matt Damon. Taking a bit of a guess.
Close.
Ben Affleck.
Batman himself, the Ben Affleck.
Oh my god.
I really want to know what his Canadian accent would have been like. Probably terrible.
Probably terrible. Is Ben Affleck
but also,
Canadian?
Right. No, he's from Boston. He's an
Okay, I'm about to say.
Yeah. But he's also Ben Affleck, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
I also, but 9 out of 10 times, I love when Ben Affleck and Ben Affleck and Kevin Smith work together. Although I have not watched Jersey Girls ever, so I can't really comment.
We're gonna have to, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
Come. In 2 months, we're gonna have to cross that bridge.
Fuck, that's right, because we have next month more Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. Then September, it's. I'm sorry, it's this next month too. Then September it's Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back, and then it's
Then
okay.
it's gonna be the bad times.
It's gonna be rough for a few months. Working before and during the podcast.
This show also has a lot of like jokes that I didn't realize entered my lexicon. So like innately, like, don't you know he has returned? Jesus, better.
Leonardo, the Jeff Bezos of the Clerks universe being very, very good. But that's not true. He wants to give Dante Randall eventually fucking benefits and put him in school. So that's it, Bezos.
Yeah. But he would do it with vindication. If we could convince Bezos that he was fucking over his employees by giving them college, he would do it in a heartbeat.
True.
I absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go on. We tying things back. I mean, aside from Jane Silent Bob, Dante Randall, Steve Dave and Fanboy get a cameo in the Leonardo Return squad with a very fucking bootleg Flash T-shirt, which I appreciate. Kevin Smith sticking to his roots with that.
Yeah, because he builds not only the quicker stop, the quick stop, the pause. You know, I will say this: this show manages to get this so well. I think that comedic, it's less how fast you can put jokes in and more, using your time for like almost like gamble payoffs.
I'm glad you're bringing that up because I want to do a comparison with something. But keep going.
I almost think I know exactly what you're going to compare, and I'm really excited for you to do that. But they lose 10 whole seconds of time in a pilot that was backed by a Super Bowl ad to do the quicker stop. Dead silence. A new convenience store? Quicker stop? And then huge applause.
Yes. Also,
that's 10 seconds of dead air.
Yes. Going back to the rule threes, Jay sees the hidden building. That looks like looks like a big bomb. Unveils it. That looks like a big bomb. A dog walks by. That's the ugliest damn bomb I've ever seen.
Oh my god, yeah. Walt Flanagan's dog. Yeah. It looks like also Jay's line delivery of that looks like a big bong, and then Walt Flanagan's dog walks by. Hey, that looks like a big bong too. Are like so fucking seamless.
Right, because they're a joke but played straight, and that's why it works.
Oh my god!
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Max.
I was gonna say, so YouTube was recommending me because actually I recently watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and of course, first time in probably like a year or two, and of course the YouTube algorithm decides, oh, you want to look at some cartoon shit, and so they suggest to me that new Looney Tunes that came out, maybe this past year or a
Oh,
year
the one for
before.
HBO Max, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
I was watching some clips of it, and they just try so hard. It's like drawn immaculately. It moves really well, but the timing of the jokes, there's no time to breathe. It's like they're constantly trying to throw in as much stuff as possible, and it really is just like, yo, you need to slow down and like not do anything for a moment. Like I don't,
show it.
and so I haven't seen that in a long
Yeah,
time where people are okay with like a pause or a silence to accentuate
right.
something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this made me miss that a lot.
I
I've
mean, oh, go ahead, Chris.
I would say no. I've heard good things about the. I think it's called the Looney Tune Show.
Yeah,
The one from
Yeah,
like
I've
two
heard.
two years ago, I think.
No, the one that's on HBO Max now.
Oh, okay.
They basically
yeah.
dropped like a bunch of new shorts that are Max exclusive. I've heard good things about them for the most part.
Oh man,
But I haven't seen. I can't because there was that one on Cartoon Network from like 5 years ago where Bugs and Daffy are roommates and Kristen Wiig is Lola Bunny, and that show was really
oh,
that one was really good.
that
And
was
just
That's what I was
good.
thinking of.
no,
Yeah.
no one cared about it.
Oh
Yeah, there are some
man.
fucking spectacular jokes in that one, and it's a shame
Didn't
that like it got super canceled.
didn't that one also come out at the same time as like the Mickey Mouse cartoon that like it looked a little more retro in animation, but it had a little more like
That was between these two.
modern. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It
those
was a
those
weird.
those
That was like
new Mickey
a
Mouse, those are still happening as far as I know.
yeah. It's a weird
Yeah.
time for animation, and then you have Space Jam 2, which I'm only bringing up because I read the tweet of uh Bugs turned into Big Chungus, and my kid
Yes!
lost his shit so hard
Wow.
I had to take him out of the theater, and I spit my coffee out. I was literally laughing so fucking hard at that tweet.
I saw that. I fucking laughed. I was like, oh, at least because like I saw that one. I saw that weird clip. This is welcome to our podcast with our podcast Short Jam, which we talk about Space Jam. I saw the bit where fucking Elmer Fudd and Sylvester the Cat are in fucking
Austin
Also,
Powers.
one. Austin Powers, the fucking Roadrunner Mad Max joke, follow like on Game of Thrones, and then Rick and Morty showing up.
Yeah.
I also did laugh at the Rick and Morty bit because I'm a fucking Rick and Morty mark, but that's a different point. Anyway, back Max, I know this is your first time on the show. We do this a lot.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay.
Also, Tom and I, outside of this podcast, do this a lot.
Yeah. But I think going back to comedic timing and using negative space in animation, I think the best example of that has to be the Simpsons classic of the Rakes, the
Yes.
Sideshow Bob Rakes, where the joke, like, we're not even talking the rule of threes anymore. That is like the rule of nines, where it's funny the first time, it's funny the second time, it stops being funny the third time, stops being funny the fourth time, feels annoying the fifth time, feels annoying
Right.
the sixth time, is the funniest fucking thing in the world the
God.
seventh time. And then when they bring it back for the eighth and ninth, it's like applause. Like,
Right.
they wasted 45 seconds of a prime time TV show to complete dead silent gamble if this joke is gonna land or not, but it did, and it made the scene immortal.
It's
Arguably,
it's commitment.
arguably the best Simpsons episode, if not your top three, depending on where you stand on Simpsons favorite episodes. But it's at least top three, if not your favorite.
Yeah, I would definitely. I think it's their best parody by leaps and bounds.
Yeah. Also, it's just like that's been immortalized in my head since it aired because it's just good AR.
It's so good.
Imagine if they included really just like bad musical stingers while that was happening and didn't leave it silent.
Right.
It would make it so shitty, but
Right.
they knew exactly what they were doing and just did what they needed to do.
It also helps
Um,
that The Simpsons is written by a bunch of eggheads at Harvard. For more
Mhm.
Simpsons talk, go watch Talking Simpsons, which is a very good Simpsons podcast, and available on any major platform network.
A lot of it kind of
Pocket
stems
Dark,
from like a lot of it kind of stems from like I think people watching Andy Kaufman, who
Right.
got that more than anyone, and tying back to SNL, the a bunch of the writers for Clerks the animated series actually did SNL. They actually pitched the Schindler's List Flintstone joke there. Actually, when John Goodman hosted one time, they pitched the idea to that, and they're like, "Nope," because John Goodman at the time had just played Fred in the Flintstones movie, and everyone on that was like, "Nope, this skit is not going to air."
Hey, Tom, can we do something out of character and do a quick aside?
Yes.
So when we get the Simpsons live action joke in episode 2, I honest to God forgot that Steven Spielberg directed that movie, and for some reason thought it was David Lynch.
The Flintstones or Schindler's List?
No, the Flintstones.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see.
Yeah.
God damn it, Chris! Now all I want to do is watch the Flintstones directed by David Lynch.
It would be a nightmare. I want it so more. Anyway, so Dante and Randall bringing us back to the actual reason people are here. Dante and Randall go to a fucking tour of the Quicker Stop. There is a adult mag store full of perverts. You can tell the perverts because they're all wearing trench coats and everything else. A bookstore with a coffee bar, a music store with a coffee bar, an international coffee bar with a bookstore with an even smaller CD store inside of it, but it also has a very tiny pornography section. Then a hall of mirrors in which Leonardo does a weird hologram fucking appearance, which I think is a Star Wars reference.
No, it's a Haunted Mansion. That's a Haunted Mansion reference.
Because that one dude screaming, "Ah, the dead live!" and running out, then going back, paying for his groceries, running out, coming back and getting his change. Amazing. What a good gag.
Yeah, that's a reference to the Haunted Mansion where they're like, a ghost is following you home. Just the way he says it, the intonation in his voice, like, the dead live! Ah! Ah! It's just so fucking good. Also, they fucking nailed, like, this was 2000 and they already nailed exactly what every bookstore and coffee shop would end up becoming.
The Barnes & Noble over bookshops. The clerks run off the Quicker Stop, saying it's not going to have any impact on the town. Hard cut to the next scene where everything is closing.
Including the tumbleweed store.
Yes. The clerks are playing charades in a really mean-spirited game of charades. Find out that they have no more jobs because obviously no one's shopping. Randall comes with the brilliant idea of a pay-as-you-exit system, which
they also do a callback to a line from the original movie with 100% less use of the word fucking in it, which really stops and reminds you,
right?
ABC greenlit this,
right? They allowed this to happen. Jay and Bob show up, and Jay and Bob officially quit hanging out the quick stop. And then cross the street and start hanging out in front of the Quicker Stop, which is honestly another good scene. Max was saying about, like, pausing for jokes.
Mm-hmm. That was a line. That was a joke that they could have stopped very early on, and instead they chose to keep that running and keep calling back to it. You guys want some illegal fireworks?
Yes.
There's that one where they reference Real World in the time that Dante... Well, I guess that wasn't that episode. That was episode 2 when they were caught in the freezer.
Oh, yeah.
And they do this thing where it's like there are always seagulls flying in the background, but they're static and flying. and then those same seagulls are behind the Quick Stop or wherever Randall's filming his Real World after. I like that. That was like a really funny visual gag.
That was Randall got kicked off the railroad for stopping for himself in the third person.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what a good joke. So they said do a 75% off sale.
Yeah.
The clerk, yeah. So they're making a sale for 19 cents. The sales reservation somehow gets hijacked by Leonardo, who is building an IKEA desk. Demands that the clerks are brought to him. They show up the shitty desk.
And And I got so many pieces left.
Yeah. Randall immediately dunks on him, calls him, and I quote, "This is his words, not mine." A Riri, which is oh no, the first time we're gonna get a lot of jokes at special needs folks this show, now let alone this episode.
I want to take a real quick aside because I don't remember what episode. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
Which episode are you, what gag are you thinking of?
I'm trying to see if I can find it. I'm doing a quick scan of. All right, so there's one episode where it is almost like a blink and you miss it joke where in one of his many gay jokes, Randall calls, I want to say, Dante a mo.
Yes,
Okay.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a bad joke, of course. But the part I find really funny about it is they were wondering how they managed to get that in without anyone saying anything. And they got like 3 different response from people at ABC, where all 3 of them thought it meant something else. One person thought the phrase "you're being such a mo" meant mother.
Okay.
Another person thought mo like the Three Stooges.
Where I went.
And another one, moron.
I was gonna say, it's like I thought one of them might be moron, which makes the most sense, but
Right.
And then they're like, yeah, and then they were like, no, it's short for homo, and they're like, oh, that's bad.
No.
Yeah, it's not a good joke.
No. Oh, yeah, I honestly thought Three Stooges because, Kevin Smith is reference king. But that sucks. Why would you make that joke?
Yeah.
Disappointed face only.
Yep. Like I said, it's I don't remember what, because it's literally a fucking blink and you miss a joke. But right. I do find it really funny that literally the only reason why it got passed was because three different people at ABC thought it meant 3 different things.
Sucks.
But yeah, there are a lot of bad jokes in this one. It is, again, it's a product of its time. Some of that shit can be left in its time. Actually, it's funny enough, while doing research on this, I came across a list of like the 15 best moments from Clerks the animated series, or ranking the episodes, and particularly one of their segments that they based the episodes on was "Leave It in the 90s," which couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, because after the special need folks goof, there is is this some sort of gay thing? No. Are you sure? No. Yes, we get it, Randall. So Leonardo wants those clerks on his side. They give them manager training, and then send them to college, and then much better jobs. Before they could answer, they get a call from Canada, because apparently once a week Canada can make outgoing phone calls, in which Leonardo has to explain that it's only raining there, which
in exchange for the deadly Motumba virus.
Yes. Which, not the best joke, low hanging fruit. I still laugh my ass off.
Where Leonardo, we find out about his evil plan. I also like that Leonardo, he's okay with being called, basically special needs, but the second Dante is like, why do you put your building in the shape of an L in case you forget your name? Immediate tone shift of, now that's right. Too far. Yeah, that's so funny.
That delivery is so good. It's
right.
That's like, it's not. Right. It's perfectly timed.
Right, and Randall immediately, like a shark sensing blood in the water. It's like, you idiot.
What's the matter with you?
So obviously Randall's insulted that they took a phone call during the meeting. Speaks on their behalf, says no, we're not taking the jobs. They are tossed. Yeah, they find out about the dome. They're tossed out of the fucking the quicker mark. Randall doesn't back talk. Leonardo gets upset. He blames Dante. And now the clerks are determined to get some dirt on Leonardo to to get their jobs back and to keep the city of Leonardo safe, which goes into the fucking Batman 66 joke of them walking sideways.
Mm-hmm. Why do we keep walking like this?
Like this.
They love that joke. They love that joke.
Yeah, it's gonna come up a lot in this episode and next episode probably.
As soon as they get to the roof, they have two ways of getting down: normal or the maze of death. Well, that door could be anything, but the maze of death, we at least know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, Rando's shtick of making things as difficult as possible is incredible.
With deadly things like a Minotaur in a Billy Crystal, Robin Williams movie. I also just love, again, this is like Jason Mewes being fucking perfect in all of his deliveries. Right. When they just show up in Leonardo's office, and they're just Jay and Silent Bob are there, and they're like, "How did you guys get here? Get where?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Trying to find some M80s."
The absurdism in this show is like so high. It's kind of nuts that it worked as well as it did. Like even from that first joke where Brian Posehn's character lights on fire after his car lights on fire is so like it was. I mean, it felt like a Simpsons joke, but they knew their tone from the start and were so consistent throughout the whole show.
It's weird that like 7 or 8 years prior to this, we got Tiny Toons, which was the next version of like Looney Tunes, and at least on paper. And then like Clerks animated series feels more like a Looney Tunes thing than a Clerks thing at times, minus like the characters. But like that's why I like it, because it's so fucking like off the rails. It's Kevin Smith stuff. It's not so much like slack drawer Clerks making and having insights delivery stuff. And it's just two white dudes being the worst, but also Jay and Silent Bob are there. And Jay and Silent Bob being Jay and Silent Bob, like they're true to form. This is Dante and Rando spiked up to 11, and it works so well.
The thing I love about it, and they've talked about this in postpartum interviews about it, is like they didn't make the show really for people who love Clerks the movie. They didn't really make the show for people who... They made this show for people who just like cartoons, like, in general.
Yeah. Right.
And that... You really feel it. Like, this is like the scary movie for cartoon lovers.
Yes.
And it has that fucking classic Looney Tune feel to it.
Right. It's... You would say, honestly, like... You put it like that way? It's what Freakazoid tried to be.
Yeah.
Minus like the 1930s references that no one got because it was a show aimed for 11-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, the thing I love the most about it is that it really doesn't... there are so many jokes that a lesser show would try and explain, but it doesn't. It like... The people who wrote this joke already laughed at it and already like, I'm putting it in, I don't need a setup, fuck you. I laughed at it. Now you gotta find out the reason why you're laughing at it.
Yes.
Which, to me, that was one of the reasons why I love those shows and video games, where it's like, hey, we don't have to explain this to you. Go and learn tangentially through this, because I learned more than I ever did from the media I consumed because of stuff like that, and it made me appreciate it later that they treated me with enough respect to basically be like, hey, come back later after you learn something, and then you'll like this even more. Even though from the surface level, it's funny or weird in its own way.
Right. The fact that they can have a show in universe like The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer and have both characters treat it like it was a real show that aired on real TV. Fucking psych! There was a show on UPN called The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer. This is a real fucking thing. This is a real thing. Welcome to my ace. Welcome to the ace up my fucking sleeve, motherfuckers. Desmond Pfeiffer was a real show, and yes.
Your body. Before we get into the secret world of Desmond Pfeiffer, let's backtrack a bit to what led to this.
Uh-huh.
So Dante and Randall stumble upon Leonardo's evil plans. They like, oh no, we need to tell the townsfolk. So they run a town hall to tell everybody, only to find out that Leonardo is there, telling them the same exact evil plan, and the crowd is losing their shit.
They are so involved. They are so happy
Yes.
for it.
Yes. Well, they don't know that there's. I think there's a phase 4 plan. There are 63 phases. So by the time they get through the 63 phases, there's one dude left who's like, "We need to do something about this." And he's like, "They're like, are you from Jersey? No, New York City. Now bring us to Pfeiffer and Pfeiffer, which is also coming now to UPN."
Uh-huh. Also, don't forget, Phase 38, Robot Chicken, which is where I really kind of hope
Yes.
they got the. I hope that's where they got the idea for the name. I kind of really do. But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if that was oh no, this is pretty Adult Swim, so yeah.
Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer is an American sitcom that aired on UPN from October 5th to 28, 1998.
Fuck.
Chris, I want you both to take a guess. Without knowing, do you think it got more or less episodes than Clerks the Animated Series?
More.
It's UPN. Homeboys Out of Space got 3 seasons, or at least, so like, I want to say at least 2 seasons for Pfeiffer.
Okay, Chris got 2 seasons. Max, what do you say?
Ooh, that's a very enticing number. I'm gonna say 3. No, hold on. It got one. It got 1. It just got 1.
Okay. It aired 4 episodes. They wrote 9.
Oh, so okay,
Wait.
yeah.
Yep.
So it suffered a similar fate to Clerks.
Damn.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
The show immediately got hit with controversy because, the story of it is a black English nobleman named Desmond Pfeiffer is chased out of the UK due to gambling debts and becomes Abraham Lincoln's valet.
Okay. Oof.
Okay. It starred Chi McBride as Desmond Pfeiffer, who, like, the if you want to know where his career went, the most popular thing he was on was Boston Public.
Oh shit! Oh my god, this dude! I remember him from Boston Public. I remember liking.
The only
no.
person on there with an actual career was Dan Florek from fucking SVU.
Also, quick side note. That means Homeboys Out of the Space got 21 episodes, all which have aired, by the way.
Mm-hmm. It sure did.
Wow.
Also,
Wow.
I am now, of course, going to read you the names and descriptions of the episodes that have aired, because I couldn't make this up if I fucking tried. Episode 1, AOL, Abe Online. Abe Lincoln engages in telegraph sex with a woman he's never seen.
What?
That's all it has listed here. Abraham Lincoln engages in telegraph sex with a woman he's never met.
Wait a sec. Okay, wait a second. Does this show not take itself seriously?
No, this is not a fucking. This is a comedy.
This is this is a straight comedy. I need to watch this.
I mean,
Maybe.
do you?
I already tortured you with one bad sitcom.
That's
Episode
okay.
2.
I
Okay.
Episode 2, Up and Away. Desmond Niblet. Oh, by the way, there's a character called Niblet.
Okay.
Pfeiffer's assistant is called Niblet. Desmond
does it
Niblet
like
and
potato chips?
and Abraham Lincoln wind up trapped behind enemy lines after a freak accident with an observation balloon, and President Lincoln must dress and drag to escape Confederate territory.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, General Grant tries sobriety.
You know what kind of vibe I'm getting from this? And obviously I haven't seen it, but it's reminding me of That's My Bush.
Yeah.
Just slightly.
I can't believe.
I must mention that the show immediately got hit with controversy because of fucking course it did. Basically, the NAACP just basically sent a telegram to them saying, what the fuck?
God.
When President Lincoln falls ill before a meeting with Queen Victoria, Mary Todd hires a body double to impersonate the president. Little does the body double know, she's got another use in mind for him.
Oh my God.
That's all it says. That's all it says. Is it sex? Probably. I don't fucking know.
I'm really glad you kept this close to the eye because I would never, I would never fucking look it up, given like how the show is written. I'm like, oh no, it's definitely like a really mean UPN joke, and I was wrong. I'll be wrong.
I had to hide this so close to my chest.
Well done. Well done.
Episode 4, Once Upon a Mistress. When foreign dignitaries bring their mistresses to visit, President Lincoln finds temptation in a gift from a foreign dignitary. Meanwhile, Niblick concocts a tonic for Mary's migraines. That was somehow the last episode to air.
That's a B plot sound in B plot.
When Confederate soldiers kidnap Mrs. Lincoln, Grant retaliates by kidnapping Robert E. Lee's wife. That's all that we know about the episodes that aired, but there's also the unaired episodes, Pigeon English, School Days, and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
We'll never know who came to dinner. We'll never know. I would scour whatever archive I could to find all these. This is insane sounding.
Oh my God. This is one of those things where if we had a game like, is this a real thing or a fake thing, I would have guessed wrong on half of them. I would have half of them were fake.
There's the Wikipedia article. I couldn't believe it. Yes.
That is.
Yes, they did. This 1998. This is the worst thing, and Paramount did this. Michael Eisner had a fucking hand in this.
Oh my God.
Oh my
God. Abe Online though, very very good.
But yeah, so, but the fact that like none of us questioned if this was gonna be a real show or not, like the fact that the line "classic Pfeiffer" I think might be one of the funniest lines in Clerks the animated series.
I'm also now reminded, like in episode, was it 3? I think, yeah. Oh, it's 3 because Outbreak. Desmond Pfeiffer's Civil War burgers.
Mm-hmm. And no need to question, no need to explain. It's just fucking there.
It's there. It is, it is weird. I remember when I first saw them mention Desmond Pfeiffer when they showed the commercial for it, I was just like, this is like, I could see where they just made this up, but it is really hyper specific. There's something weird about this.
Right. I just thought, I thought it was just Kevin Smith's fucking,
Yeah.
Fucking right.
Looks like Chris has been doing good with RCN so far. But we may have a Chris's camera is frozen in a very funny way. Either that or Pfeiffer caused his brain to reboot.
If he's holding that for real, I have to applaud him. Oh, there he is. Hey.
Okay.
My RCN's giving one more night of hell before I replace them with a better survival. But again, yeah. Did my Sasha McNasty joke land or no?
No, completely.
I'm saying the reason why it was so believable that fucking Dennis Piper was a fake show because UPN was a same network that had a 2-season show called Shasta McNasty. I'm sorry, one season.
Oh my god.
Starring Dale, I don't know, Jake Busey, who I assume is Gary Busey's brother, Troy Verner, and no one else I've ever heard of.
Jake is his son, I think, right?
Let's check it out. It's definitely Busey, all right.
Yeah,
his son.
William Jacob to Tooth Busey.
Yeah, that's his son.
Jake Bussey.
Bussy. Jake Bussy's our new 18 plus channel on our Discord. He's also God.
I just immediately go to the Shasta McNasty page, and the first thing I see is Chubby Chick.
It's okay. Last thing the young William Jacob Bussy Jr. was in was the third season of Stranger Things.
Oh,
Vern Troyer?
yeah. Wow.
Vern Troyer was in this too, apparently.
Oh shit. Oh, rest in peace, Vern.
R.I.P. Another dead homie.
I'm also
Anyway,
finding out
so-
that I'm also finding out really quick aside that Vern Troyer's first role was Baby Bing stunt double in Baby's Day Out.
No fucking way. Really?
Yep.
what an educational podcast this is.
Okay.
That's your short fact for this week.
Okay,
damn
so I know they must have used a dummy for when the baby hit his head on the freaking concrete. But imagine if that was just Vern Troyer's head instead.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my god.
So, they watched Pfeiffer, episode of Pfeiffer, UPN, another R slur. The word is queer is just said flat out, which I guess was not meant to be a good use of queer back then. The foiled Jefferson's plan. They used the same plan as the TV show without explaining what the plan is. Another gay joke. Jane, Silent Bob blow up the quicker stop. Not planned. And we get
do you guys want some fireworks?
Yes. Leonardo leaves. The clerks vow to change. They don't. And also, Jane, Silent Bob return officially, and we get safety tips with Jane, Silent Bob. Kids are camping. Charlie Barkley shows up. Charlie Barkley gets immediately yelled at.
I want to know who got Charles Barkley in
and
on
why.
this.
Right.
It feels so weird.
Was Charles Barkley still playing at the time?
It is.
Shit, I forget.
I'm looking at that right now because, I feel like this could be because this isn't on TNT Barkley yet. This is still. Let's see.
They also had that joke where they brought in the entire the basketball team as a jury.
I'm not sure. Okay, so he was still playing at the time. It's 98 from 1996 to 2000. He was playing for the Houston Rockets.
Someone on the team just really liked basketball and had connections.
I'm wondering that too. Yeah, it must be that because it was too. He was too consistent.
Right.
That show.
They joked that he was the fifth character because he was in every episode.
That's
Or
right.
almost every episode.
Yeah.
Right. God. Also, other acting roles that he's been in was 1996's Space Jam. He appeared in an episode of Suits, episode of Modern Family, an episode of himself and of We Bare Bears, and some of the Goldbergs, where he plays a dim teacher, an alien conspiracy theory, briefly trained. So yeah, Charles Barkley one.
So we move on to after Jane, Silent Bob give the kids the great advice to let the campfire burn all night, and don't forget to tie your food up so that bears don't get it.
Right, bear this tip in mind.
I also love that just Silent Bob talks at the end of them and no one bats a fucking eye.
Right, yeah, because they also Silent Bob could talk. I also like how this is the ending of the off-timing Jane Silent Bob laughing gag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that they reuse that exact animation and that exact laugh clip in in almost every segment.
Right.
Yeah.
So
then
that
we
was the
move on.
pilot. I think it was really good. It obviously helps if you know who these characters are going into it, because the show offers very little explanation of who they are.
Yeah, but at least I feel like the first at least 5 minutes try to handle the transition from there's an attempt to handle the transition from the movie to the show by having things like the 3 customers asking stupid questions.
Right. Yeah, that's the plot, and then it immediately ignores that plot to go stop an evil billionaire.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they don't have time to learn how to vulcanize someone's tire while they wait.
Right.
Honestly, most of the show, I feel like even if you didn't watch the movie, you didn't really need to know anybody because they kind of were there doing their thing, and they were
Hmm.
they it didn't feel like you were being fully left out of something. So it kind of works on its own, I think.
Right.
At least I think. I
I mean, we also had all watched the kind of movie prior to this,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
is wild that, like, this is what, so Clerks dropped in '95. This coming out 5 years later.
Yeah.
I
That's yeah.
feel like this is almost a better transition if you've seen Mallrats. You probably be. I think it's a smoother transition going from like Mallrats to this than from Clerks to this.
Mm,
Because
mm.
really, all you kind of got to know about Dante and Randall is straight man,
Snarky one.
snarky one. Jay and
And then
Bob
Jay's
are
not
just
Bob.
Yeah.
Jay and Bob,
Yeah.
and
Jay and Bobby also here.
I keep thinking in alternate reality, the Clerks cartoon would have been something more like a rotoscoped film like Waking Life or Scanner Darkly, where it's just like, oh, they just used it as a style more than anything because the tone of the movie is just so different. Uh,
I fucking love the art style for this show, though. Episode 2 starts off now. We get the celebrities. Ben Affleck joke, though. That's the only celebrity who apparently signed off in the show, which I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's true or just a goof.
Ben Affleck
Probably-
pre-reindeer games.
Yeah. Oh, right. Which is also the opposite of what happened 2 years later. Oh, a year later, for Jane Silent Bob Strike Back, what Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms.
Oh, yeah.
Mom, fucking.
It also starts off with a next week on Clerks joke, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they do that, and then every time they intro a new episode, it's Randall saying like a more absurd thing, like this show Clerks is filmed in front of a live studio audience, and then eventually it's just like Clerks is drawn by a live studio audience. It just keeps getting weirder and weirder.
Drawn before a live studio audience.
Yeah,
Dante gets called into work because the click stop is robbed. Actually, it's just messy, and the cops like, "Hey, look, fact checks bag." Which
You gotta take pride
Okay.
in your work, son. You
Right.
wear your uniform with respect.
I
Oh yeah,
guess
do you have a copy of Fat Chicks?
Chicks. I guess Fat Chicks is the Clerks equivalent of huge asses, the Simpson porno man that Krusty reads.
Oh, I found you also have your copy of Gigantic Asses.
Asses, thank you. Okay, that's 0 for 2 with Chris referring to that bit. So yeah, this is an episode that Paul Dini worked on. Paul Dini, co-creator of Batman the Animated Series, along with Bruce Timm. Does not feel like an episode of Batman the Animated Series. I don't think there's a single Batman joke in this episode, right?
No, there is not.
There is a Wolverine reference, but no Batman, if I recall correctly.
there is a Batman joke, but it's in the court episode.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah,
that's
okay.
but not not that episode.
That's next month. Oh yeah, so they had to get the rocks to play. The locks to place. They immediately look very shady, and the fucking locksmith's just like, hey, I gotta go back to my place, do my locks now. Someone broke into mine, and oh no, the clerks are trapped in the freezer.
Yep,
They
so-
fight instantly.
This is what we traditionally call in sitcom lingo a bottleneck episode. It's when you put two characters in a very constrained environment, usually a one-set episode, and have them focus entirely on just them talking, just them going over problems. So if you've ever seen, like, an episode where two characters get locked in a bank vault for a day, that's a bottleneck episode. And they decided to combine it with another trope of sitcoms, the flashback episode.
Right.
Both of which are traditionally used in sitcoms to save money, stretch out the talent, and stretch out the budget. You only have to build one set. You only have to, you don't have to really edit all that much. You just have to have them, kind of read their lines and or reuse old footage. But the joke of it is, it's their second episode. Wouldn't it be terrible if this were aired not second after the only one
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
aired.
Yeah.
Which is such a bummer because it's such a funny joke. It's such a
Right.
funny mechanical joke that the network just decided to fuck up.
Right.
It
Yeah.
is. It's a concept that would actually be used again in other sitcoms and other shows. Rick and Morty did a the entire existence of Mr. Poopy Butthole came about in
Right.
an
Oh, yeah.
episode like
Yeah.
that.
Right. And the
Arrested
fucking-
Development tried doing
yes.
that.
Yes. I also love the line, walk around and keep making Star Wars references, because
Yep.
up to this point now, everything Karen Smith has ever done has a Star Wars reference. And this one just leans into it super hard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, the idea to come up with that, to come up with the flashback episode, I don't even think South Park did it by that point.
No, this is, I feel like you're right, it's the first time, at least a major, and I may say major in the loose sense, TV show has done something like that.
Let me check.
Sorry to tangent into South Park, but when did they do that one where that flashback episode where they kept remembering everything incorrectly? What season was that?
Oh, that's why I accidentally looked up. So it's called City on the Edge of Forever, which is a name. I initially got very confused for a second here because City on the Edge of Forever is also a episode of Star Trek where they did a very similar thing. I actually think it's one of the first it's a Star Trek episode that I think also does the tries to do that, and that came out in April 1967. So I looked at the air date and got very confused for a second. This came out June 17th, 1998. So technically, it did predate the it predated it by 2 years, but also don't forget they were writing these episodes before they aired. So
yeah, animation production takes a long time.
Yep.
And you can imagine, God, I remember hearing one time it was like if you're like one episode takes almost up to 6 months, maybe more, to actually animate when they get it over from Korea.
Yep.
And
So, yeah.
South Park kind of eschewed that by doing their own faster production schedule.
Right.
So
Yes.
it's likely same time. They might have heard about it, but I don't think this was a case of like someone ripped each other off. I think they
Right. It's probably more like a Winter Soldier under the Red Hood scenario where both two entities had the same idea and they come out like months apart without so we have a flashback to the first episode, which this joke makes no sense if you didn't it didn't make sense until the DVD dropped, because they never aired this episode on ABC where it's the Sideways Walking. Then there's a flashback to 1985. You can tell it's 1985 because Ronald Reagan's there, but Dante and Randall look the same as they do now.
I love that bit.
That's a good bet.
Yeah. Then a flashback to how they first met, where Randall was reading comics behind a lemonade stand. A man asked if there's any sugar in his lemonade. Randall says he believes so. Says he's like, oh, I can't have it, I'm diabetic. He's like, oh, then no. Buys it, dies immediately. Then fucking he discovers porn. It's a rapid flashback, and then we get back to the modern time, in which they see an old lady, Mrs. Corbin, enters the quick shop. They're like, please, goes out of the quick shop. They're ignored, and Mrs. Corbin robs the place blind and leaves. We get
Steals
another
Dante's
flashback.
jacket.
Yeah, we get another flashback to the last time they were locked into the freezer. You can tell because Randall's wearing a Down with Saddam shirt, and he goes like. Then another flashback. They were locked in there. Now a Down with Paul Reiser t-shirt.
Also, let's not forget the jizz joke, where Randall, after reminiscing about the porn mag that he found at in 1950, whatever year it was. Yeah, 1985.
Oh no,
it was younger. It was like
late 80s, right? 78 maybe.
Yeah, 70. Let's say 78. Randall still has that same porno mag, and when he goes to open it, the pages crinkle and show that they've crusted over. To which he says, "It's frozen."
That's probably the grossest joke they got away with, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I am almost positive they only got away with it because I don't think they explained to anyone at
yeah.
ABC what they were implying with that.
Right.
Also, that's an example of a joke that they use here, but they use it even better in the next episode of not even trying to hide a character's voice changing by just having Jeff Anderson now voicing a young Randall without even like
Right.
trying to kid up his
Right.
voice.
Right. Usually, you hire a Tara Strong to voice your young version of the character, not his time,
Nope.
or Laura Bailey, or some other voice actress lady. I forget. Caitlin Glass. There you go. Yeah, fucking stellar, stellar. I was like down with Saddam to like give us a side date, and then down with Paul Reiser. Why? Just what did that man do to Kevin Smith?
The only thing I can think of is that he just saw aliens and he just assumed that they're like, yeah, fuck Paul Reiser, look what he did.
Fair, fair. So Jane, Silent Bob arrive and immediately are trapped. Randall's like, they're using all our air. I was like, no, they're not. And hard cut the Jane, Silent Bob's breathing weird, sucking all the air. Yeah. And like, and then yeah, just Jay's just like, this is like that planet on an Empire, and then I had a lightsaber and starts making Wolverine noises.
Snitchy, snitchy. Whoa, Jedi. Slice up Tubby here. No, we can hide inside him.
I also love it. This is not the first time they do it. Every time someone gets shocked, their eyes get like big, but also they're like heavily like outlined, the little dots inside of it. It's very good fucking visual.
It's
They
very
have-
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, go
Okay,
ahead.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say I've never seen like I've seen like whenever they do like a big eye to express shock, like usually they would enlargen the eye and then shrink the pupil. But I've
Right.
never seen them do a heavier stroke around the eye before to indicate that. And yeah, it works well, but it's so weird. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's very much like the progression of the Tex Avery like ooh, big cartoon wolf eyes.
Yeah.
But it
But you
right, because it feels like at the time everyone was doing like that gag, but veinier and more disgusting. Case
Yep.
point, like Ren and Stimpy. This one's like, no, we're just gonna do we're gonna pivot a bit. We're gonna zag where everyone zigs, and it worked out really well.
yeah.
Yeah. Then we get a flashback to something that never happened, and then a flashback to something that literally just happened. Then again, flashback to the last episode. Caitlin Bray name dropped. We find out also, yeah, Dante lost sex in his car, and Randall was there recording it.
I still have my dignity and videos of you and Caitlin having sex, which is a weird thing to have.
Right, he's very proud of himself taping his friend having sex. And then also, there's the gag where they're painting Caitlin's house while she's fucking a painter. Then during Dante's dad's birthday party, Dante leaves to find her having sex with the same painter, same animation in a different room. Then there's the painter's birthday party, and once again, they're having sex.
It's
They're invited to that party.
It was Dante's dad's birthday, and Randall catches her having sex in the
Right.
Then
the kitchen,
painter's birthday party, where the painter's
Right.
having sex with Caitlin in the kitchen, and it's the
Right.
same. That is, by the way, the scene where Randall like notices something is wrong and does like a turnaround. That one of the animators in the commentary is like, I fucking love that turn so much.
And then she's like, "Oh, I remember this one time. It's Jane, Silent Bob running from the cops with a stolen couch. They drop the couch and they notice Caitlin having sex with two painters, in which someone, I forgot who it was, Jay or Randall, screams a whole painter three-way. Oh,
It was a painter three-way.
And then they got Jane, Silent Bob a high five for some reason.
Aren't the painters still painting too
Yes.
while they're
Yeah, they have rollers in their hand.
Yes.
And it's all done with a the same like kind of porn leitmotif.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Another perfect illustration of basically like the rule of threes plus more.
Right. Also, again, all painted three-way high five. Jay is so happy for some reason. So then they discuss Randall's love life, and his mail-ordered husband, aka guy husband. This bit is slightly racist and slightly homophobic.
It's a twofer. We're batting double.
Right.
It does have another good use of that porno lay motif, but
Yes.
And I will admit the one part of that sketch that still holds up is at the very end, where Randall goes, "Oh, I love you, Toshiro-san, wherever you are." That part is still funny. Everything else, there's a lot of bad Asian stereotypes and gay jokes in there that are no good.
Again, but Jay asking guy husband is fucking hell. There's a Vegas flashback
where they lose all their money.
Because they find out they're bad at gambling. They're bad at life and bad at dating and bad at gambling. Then they were almost priests, but then they get married instead. Silent Bob frees everyone from the freezer via crowbar. They go to the video store, where they're immediately trapped in the video store, and the AC is broken, just turning into a new freezer. And then there's a flashback to the freezer, but this time it has the character Idiot Dante in there, who we missed out. He probably appeared earlier. It's Dante remembering how they get locked in the freezer. There's Randall remembering that. Only there's Dante wearing a diaper saying he's an idiot.
Every time Randall tells us a flashback, he is like wearing a monocle and dressed in a smoking jacket, and Dante is in a diaper with a dunce cap, swinging a cat around.
Yes.
And talking like, "I'm Dante, and I'm the biggest idiot."
It's very good.
They also use that same clip of 1960s Batman climbing up the building like 4 fucking times.
It's very, very good. That's where we get the Flintstone list gag, which is a mashup of Schindler's List and the Flintstones. About when we watch this, a nice timely Holocaust joke. This wasn't on the ABC version. This was only on every other version.
The thing I love the most about this joke is that they set it up by that, because now they're stuck in the video store, which is now like a freezer. And apparently one of the, like, when they were pitching how Clerks could actually be an animated series, this was literally one of the first jokes they wrote for it, was that because they could be in a video store, much like a lot of Family Guy cutaway gags, it could make sense in the same way that The Critic could do a lot of movie parodies by Jay watching a coming soon attraction. It could be Randall watching a movie in the video store. So this was apparently one of the first gags that they wrote for the show, where they're like, we could cut to Randall watching a Spielberg penned Flintstones Holocaust movie.
God.
So they don't show it right away. Instead, they're like, put a movie on, and they look and they're like, well, we could watch Flintstones List with Liam Neeson as Fred. And they go, no, God, that's terrible. Hey, do you remember when we watched that? I love that fake out of, God, this is terrible. Here it is. And it's to the sound of like a very upbeat Flintstone-y vibe. It's like the saddest looking cavemen being herded into buses, and then they do the Simpsons thing where they lift up the car and start running. And it is it's so terrible, but they commit to the bit so much that it works in what would have been a death sentence for any other series. They managed to make it work.
Absolutely.
Okay, we now get to the celebrity roulette, in which Jerry Seinfeld walks in. Oh, they talk about little celebrities who come to the quick stop, and they're immediately shady to every celebrity who's coming in. Jerry Seinfeld, played by Gilbert Godfrey. Gwyneth Paltrow, played by Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, I thought that was like that is her.
That's her, yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson shows up and is immediately eaten by a shark.
Which they can't help but do twice.
Also, that hasn't shown up. Like, that movie hasn't come out yet, right?
Deep Blue Sea?
Yeah.
That was 95, I want to say.
What's
Yeah.
up? What's
I
up?
want to say that was like 95. So yeah, that came
No
out
way.
by this.
Maybe it's
Which is weird because I keep thinking that movie came out later, but yeah, it was. You're right. I think it was like mid '90s and like '95.
no
Sorry,
1999.
99. It
Oh,
had just
oh,
come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
wow. So they
Right.
popped that in probably like
Right.
Last minute.
last
Yeah.
minute, which
Right.
makes sense because it is a very quick throwaway thing they could
Right.
animate.
It's
That's
also quick aside. Deep Blue Sea 1999. Deep Blue Sea 2 2018. Deep Blue Sea 3, which I did not know existed, 2020.
Oh my god. I
wow.
think
What usually when they want to milk a sequel, I'm surprised they did it that late.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
weird.
I could tell you, no, I don't know any of the actors of Deep Blue Sea 3. Deep Blue Sea 2. Also, no names.
yeah. Samuel L. Jackson is not going to be in Deep Blue Sea 2. He might be in Deep Blue Sea 2, but that's another movie.
Mm, mm, mm.
Uh. So yeah, we get the. I also love the line "Screw you, Miss Hepburn."
I love that line too. Man, just so good. Screw and
Oh.
also getting payback at Ted Danson, and then
Yeah.
the
Well,
little scream,
yes.
that comes from Ted Danson is like one of the best. I wish I could have that as a bite that I could have whenever I needed. I just hit a button
Also,
and I hear
I
that.
have all caps written the phrase "Up yours, Matt Damon," and I think they
Yeah.
just mow him down, right?
No, they drive by and throw a soda at his face, and then
Oh,
he starts to
right.
cry.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Up yours, Matt Damon. Okay, that's what it was. I was spectacular, right? Yeah. And then the payback time for Ted Danson. And then like remember we went to the English wiki stop that vacation.
Uh huh.
Um.
We unfortunately do
Yeah.
have to talk about this episode
Yeah.
or this
So,
segment.
so yeah, they dropped the F slur a whole bunch because it's also a word for a cigarette. Um, though it does lead to the line, "Wow, you're a cigarette," which is a good joke.
Yeah, I
But
have a
the
soft spot
rest
for
of
the
it,
line "You're a cigarette."
yeah,
Uh,
that bit good. The rest of it, hmm. And
uh,
then they go to India, which is
once
also a
again,
bit,
a
yeah,
little racist, a little.
yeah,
It's hitting. We're not at full throttle, but we're hitting that oof. We're hitting the
yeah.
medium high oof.
Yeah.
Like if you put a
Well,
pot on that medium oof, it could boil water. It's that hot.
yeah.
I
I
do,
do like
however,
same
I think
joke.
I think we're about to
Yeah.
say the same thing. I'll go for it.
Yeah. No, the bit where they get yelled at by a customer who's just like, they come here and they don't speak the language. Speak Hindu.
Yeah, that line's great.
What up, Yuppie Fine? But
Uh,
yeah, that line fucking rules. I love that bit. And
Uh,
then
the real world.
oh no. First, this is important. They go. The one time we went to the burn ward and they run out screaming into other burn ward.
So fun fact that other burn ward was supposed to be pediatric burn ward, but ABC was like, nope, can't
Right.
do that.
Right. Then we get the roommate joke, which they split the apartment in two, only to ignore the fact they have a third roommate. Then we get the real joke, in which Randall is forced off the show because Randall will stop referring to Randall in the third person.
Where we get the seagulls that just follow him nonstop.
Yes. So Randall goes and makes Randall's own real world. Then we get like three family Happy Days jokes.
Um,
Hey.
Also a great clip of Dante getting hot coffee knocked on his crotch while Randall
Yes.
narrates over it. I'm Dante, the biggest idiot in the world.
Yes.
Actually, speaking of that, I do love that the second instance of that joke is where they're trying to remember who had the crowbar, and they go back to it. It's Dante still in the dunce cap and a diaper,
Right.
swinging the cat, going, even though I remember who had the crowbar, I'm still the biggest idiot in the world.
I think after the word happy, after Happy Days joke times two is all caps. This is basically Family Guy, and I stand by that statement.
Yeah.
This episode basically invented Family Guy.
The line I really love, because they spend the rest of the night talking about Happy Days clips, but there's a line from Randall that is so good that they actually call it out in the commentary, where Jeff Anderson says something to the line of Happy Days had some good moments, didn't it? and just the way he delivered that line is apparently like one of the
Yeah,
funniest things they thought.
Yes.
it was like, boy, Happy Days had some good moments.
Yeah, that's it.
And then Sam Jackson gets eaten again, and we find out this is all flashback, and they walk into another burn ward immediately.
Well, they're telling their story to people playing hockey who don't give a shit,
Right.
and then they
Right.
get locked in the hockey rink, which they could
Right.
easily just walk over.
Right.
I love they got so lazy about that joke. It was like, yeah, they could even just hop over. It was just like,
Yeah.
oh no, it's a door.
And then they have to go into another burn ward, which is conveniently right
Yeah.
next to the ice skating rink.
You know, those that combination burn ward hockey rink. And then I don't get this reference at the end where it's Jay, Silent Bob, Dante Randall, and Skeeter.
It's Stand By
I-
Me.
It's Stand By Me. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all of them going their separate ways at the end of Stand By
Right.
Me
Yeah.
with an elderly Jay talking about, and it's like Skeeter was drafted and went to Vietnam and killed.
Yeah.
By the way, who voices that old Jay? 'Cause he sounds
I
weird.
asked the same question.
So I'm
Yeah.
actually very glad you asked. It is not Richard Dreyfuss. It's Richard Dreyfuss's brother, who is also
That's
a
right.
voice actor, and people always hire him for television ads when they don't want to pay for the real Richard Dreyfuss, because he charges
Wow.
about half what his brother
Right.
charges.
That
That's
is
funny.
the fucking non-union Mexican equivalent of Steven Seberg.
Let me see if I can find. I think it's something like William Dreyfuss.
Right. That's so good.
Hey, I wonder if I know. I think Tom Hanks's brother does a similar thing.
There is another celebrity who was on the 100 because, like, 100. There's a lesser brother is on a show.
Hmm.
Who is it? Oh, Henry Ian Cusick, obviously, brother too. Wait, is he not related? Hold on, am I wrong? Cusack.
Oh, to John Cusack?
Wait, is he? Hold on. I'm not sure if he's actually
Lauren Dreyfuss is his brother's name.
Oh, like Lorne Michaels almost.
Close. Lorin.
Oh, okay.
He does a lot. He does less like movies and stuff like that, but he apparently does a ton of commercials where, for people who don't want to pay for the actual Richard Dreyfuss, you can just hire his brother for a fraction of the price.
There you go. Hey, you're giving Lauren work.
Oh, actually, I'm wrong. Henry Ian Cusick is not related to John Cusack. It's way different. Womp womp. Anyway, I'm done. So yeah, the episode ends with next week. Clerks are back, locked in the freezer. 2 weeks back to the goddamn sideways walking.
Which is like, I think, the 6th time they used that joke in the episode, and it's still
Yes.
funny.
Which leads us to our final bit of the episode, rainy day fun with Jane, Silent Bob. Which this is where these things take a turn, because it's the two kids looking out the window, and everyone's like, "Let's make a movie! Quick, take off your shirt."
Which even at the time when I saw that, I was like, "Whoa, that's a lot."
Yeah.
Oh,
It's also, this is when those things take a dark turn, because their episode also has a fucking weird child pornography gag.
So the funny part about that is, in the audio commentary, they were like, someone was like, "What did the Disney censors have to say about that?" And they're like, "Nothing. We don't think we think it went right over their heads."
Yeah.
that sounds it.
And then look, it's Jay and Silly Bob. That's silent. Charles Barkley shows up and once again is driven away. Why did Charles Barkley agree to get yelled at for 6 episodes?
It's the way he just dejectedly walks away that is the
Yeah.
funniest
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
thing in the world to me. Because he's also fucking towering over the both of them.
Right,
And just like,
right.
like
Easily.
easily the most wealthy of anyone who's working on this show. And
Shows
he's just
included,
like,
by the way.
yeah, and just like
Yeah.
drops his head and just like takes the saddest steps away. And it's the funniest fucking thing.
I love these rainy day with Jane Silent Bob bits, because like they get more and more obscure. It's time they seem to have to do magic, and they just offer a coin up to Lord Satan, and then The girl's just like, okay, now take off your shirt. Jane Silent Bob, canned laughter. That's how the episode ends.
The funny part is apparently Jay had been like smoked an entire carton of cigarettes the day before. So when they recorded that line, his voice was so fucking shot. So when he's like, and that weird evoke the name of the Satanist Dark Lord, take this girl's soul. And it ends again on literally, the same animation and voice clip of their,
Yeah.
ha 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 ha. So
yeah.
we, of one of the only 2 episodes to air, I
Right.
feel like this was the episode that confused the most people, and I'm down for it.
Yeah, it's minus a bunch of gags. It's still solid. It's still very funny. I guess groundbreaking in a way because the first time like a show that got that meta, I would feel at least like a major network show. I'm sure HBO, something on HBO or cable was kind of getting that kind of outside the box thinking.
I mean, yeah, it's
but-
basically it treats Clerks like a sitcom better than the actual Clerks sitcom.
Right, which admittedly not that difficult.
Yeah, it's a low bar, but it's still a bar.
Yeah. We go to episode 3.
Episode 3. Leonardo is caught in the grip of an outbreak of Randall's imagination, and Patrick Swayze either does or doesn't work in the new pet store.
I'm going to be honest. This episode has some good jokes, but this one feels easily the most dated just for being an Outbreak parody.
I don't know. This was probably one of my least favorite episodes when I first watched it.
Yeah.
And I think I like it the most out of these three.
I would say the pilot's my favorite of the 3. Max, where do you weigh on this?
Man, that's a good question. I out of these first 3, I might lean more. Wait, hold on. Let me just.
It's a tough one.
This is tough because like every one of these has something really special to them. I think I'll lean towards the Outbreak one because there's some jokes that really get me there. Like Randall's his utter incompetence to get the box of burritos out of the sun, even when he's like looking right at them, is really funny to me.
That's a great gag. I'm not gonna mention it's not a great gag, but
and then he goes out of his way to put a chia pet on top of the box.
Yes, okay.
For the sole purpose of smashing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it starts off really strong, but then it was the minute James Wood shows up, it kind of goes downhill.
Yeah. So yeah,
Anyway.
unfortunate. James Unfortunate Woods is in this episode, and James Woods unbelievable in Hercules, and more. He literally the only good. I think probably the only good thing that came out of the ABC connection was the fact that they got to use Disney money and Disney connections to get James Woods, who. Much like Hades, I think he's the only person who could have played that role, even if he does suck.
Yeah, because like at this point now, what? Because this is, post Simpsons, pre-Family Guy, right? James Woods,
right? And then is it just after Hercules? He was was Hercules 98, 97? Forget.
Hercules was 99, I want to say.
Oh, it was. So okay, yeah.
So the episode starts. This time, the gag is the show is not endorsed by celebrities, but is endorsed by several celebrity impersonators. Which solid joke.
And that's a joke that's gonna play multiple times in this episode because, there's a celebrity in this episode. There are 2 celebrities in this episode that like they almost got in trouble. For this one. First of all, Patrick Swayze plays a prominent role in this episode.
Sure does.
And this is some of the most confusing notes that they got from the censor at ABC, where they were like, you can't... They're like, you're calling him Patrick Swayze. You can't call him that. That's his name. He's a real person. So they asked Patrick Swayze if he wanted to voice himself. Patrick Swayze wanted nothing to do with this at all, mostly because it insinuates that he is so down on roles that he'd have to work at a pet shop. Which
It would have made him cool. It would have made him
Right.
cool if he did it.
it's
Yeah.
funnier to me that his agents were like, well, do you think people could genuinely think he'd have to work at a the fact that it's like something that's so that they were concerned enough to pull back on a role from means that it's valid enough of a concern.
I wonder if this had been The Simpsons, he would have agreed to it.
I don't know. I actually don't know what else. Has Patrick Swayze done any like
Well, he's
cameo? Duh. But before he died,
Let's do.
I'm
a
looking
quick
to see if he. Yeah, I'm
Patrick
looking to see if he
Swayze.
played himself in any.
You know what's funny is that oh no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of it. I'm thinking of James Woods again. I was just thinking James Woods played a to get the role of learning how to be a clerk, he had to do that in The Simpsons.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would not say he had an impressive resume at this point now. So this is 1999. So Ghost was 1990. More importantly, Point Break was 1991.
And then nothing after that?
No, 1995 was Tu Wong Fu, Takes Everything, Julie Newmar. Black Dog in 1998 and Letters from a Killer. That was his. And then Forever Lulu, Green Dragon, and Donnie Darko in 2001. Okay.
Where he played a child molester.
Right. Waking Up Reno, One Last Dance in 2003, Dirty Dancing, Cabana Nights, the much beloved Dirty Dancing sequel that we all remember.
God.
George and the Dragon, 2004, Fox and the Hound 2 in 2006. Yeah, no.
Yeah. The only time where he's ever played in a comedy with like himself was Saturday Night Live in one of its worst seasons, 1990.
Oof.
Where quite literally the only thing he did that it's not even really a mockery of himself because he played the sexy one in it, but his dynamite sketch with him and Chris Farley as Chippendale dancers.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I think that is the only time he ever like played himself in like a remotely self-mockery kind of role, but nah, he never poked really fun at himself. So yeah, he was like ultra offended to be to be asked to play himself down on his luck.
Which is odd because he would be in 3 seasons of the show called Scruff, which appears to be a Spanish animated TV series based on a book by Giuseppe Vallarino.
I mean, let's be real. I'm looking at Patrick Swayze's legacy, and with the exception of phrases like, and with the exception of movies like Point Break and the thing his legacy is most known for is Ghost Like Swayze.
Yeah.
They're listing all the rappers that reference Patrick Swayze and Ghost.
I would say the Dirty Dancing. Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse, Ghost, and Point Break are like the fucking quattro of things that he's that and Tu Wong Fu. I'd say he has 5 movies, yes. Anyway, so who's Patrick Swayze? Who's the other celebrity, Tom?
One Dustin Hoffman, who, no joke, sued somebody for referencing their likeness in an anime in a non-movie role.
Right.
That's right.
Now the funniest part to me about Patrick Swayze is who voices Patrick Swayze?
Jerry Seinfeld himself.
Yep, one Gilbert Gottfried. And unlike Jerry Seinfeld, where Gilbert Gottfried did his admittedly fucking amazing Jerry Seinfeld impersonation. Like, seriously, if you ever get a chance, go watch, like, Howard Stern clips of Gilbert Gottfried doing Jerry Seinfeld impressions. They're fucking hilarious.
Oh, okay.
With this, they were so weirded out by Patrick Swayze's just, like, flat-out refusal to voice himself at all. They're like, fuck it. We're just going to have Gilbert Gottfried play Patrick Swayze, but just use Gilbert Gottfried's voice for Patrick Swayze. They didn't even have him attempt to do like a Patrick Swayze impression. They were just like, "Hey Patrick, how's it going, Randall?"
Which I kind of love because like they're kind of a dick to Patrick Swayze in this movie, but like
it's so funny to have
it's good to have
straight up.
Wah.
It's so funny to have straight up Gilbert Gottfried's voice coming out of him. This is my horse, Point Break, like the movie I was in.
Like the movie I was in.
Yes. So the episode starts with Dante and Randall opening fan mail.
Oh yeah, that's right, Lando.
First question is about zero women on the show is ignored. Second letter also about women on the show, partly ignored. Third question is how there's no black people on the show. They immediately introduce Lando, their new black friend, and much like the current state of affair, they deem themselves a progressive liberal show.
I love when they say keep a lookout for him in the show. I love
I also love I love the second letter that they read where the router of it is like, why are there no women on your show? Are you afraid of women? Thank you for writing. Very pretty penmanship.
Yeah. It's so intentionally shitty. I love it. So he wakes up. Donnie wakes up as he always does. Phone call from the Quickie Mart, the Quick Stop. God, Quickie Mart. And this is the trick. He does not have to go to work today. He is told someone else is going to open the shop. Unfortunately, he wakes up to discover we find out that he is in the shop already. As Randall has told him that he's going to have to open. Randall covers the shift. Dante asks that he put there's a delivery burritos coming. Please put them away. They arrive as Dante is leaving. Randall notions that he's gonna do it. He does not. He sees him baking in the sun. Runs out. Puts a chia pet on there. Waters it.
Gets shocked again. Yeah. Waters it.
Waters it again. The fucking box of burritos look rancid. And the next thing you see is Dante coming in the store with the rancid burritos, as Randall's there with a baseball bat, about to smash a chia pet. So Lando appears.
Yeah, very, very briefly. Literally in passing. Hi, Randall. Hi, Lando. I think my favorite part about that is apparently when they sent that part out to the Korean animation studio. The Korean animation studio was so fucking confused about how to edit that scene of Dante under the pile of clothes behind the counter. Like, whoever was like heading it at the point, he did not get the joke. He did not get the joke he didn't get the setup, he didn't get the logic behind it for the life of him. So this is before email is like fucking prevalent. So they're sending each other like messages and telegrams back and forth like, well, how can I do this? What do you mean? What do you need to explain? I don't get it. Why would he be sleeping in clothes behind the counter? Would he be on the counter? No, he'd be behind the counter. What the fuck do you mean? He's behind the counter under the clothes. So that one segment took them like 3 times longer than anything else to animate because they just couldn't get this guy to understand the bit.
God, because up to a certain point, I'm with you guys on this being one of the best ones. I was dying at this intro. Jay and Silent Bob appear, and they ask if they sell monkeys. The clerks are like, "What? No, why would we sell monkeys?" Jay responds, "So it's like no, so not late to teach you how to smoke." There's an outbreak joke, followed immediately by a pro Kevin Spacey joke.
What was that? I forgot. Oh man, forgetting the pro Kevin Spacey joke.
I just remember. I just have all caps. Oof, Kevin Spacey pro joke. But then the whole fucking Dante points out Randall's fear of using the toilet after seeing Jaws. There's water in my toilet. Sharks swim in water. Hence, that. And then cuts back to the burritos. They are now jumping out of the box.
After Randall, instead of throwing them in the trash, because and another one of my favorite recurring gags. Why doesn't Randall throw the burritos in the trash?
There's a really big bee out there.
There's a big bee out there.
Right.
I love that one too.
Does he put it eventually in a like the leave a penny, take a penny thing?
Yeah, he shoves
Yeah.
a corner of the box in the leave a
Yeah.
penny, take a penny, where one of the
Right.
sentient burritos busts out
Yeah.
and starts to make a run for it. Also, don't forget, Randall was also the reason why Dante was sleeping there in the first place, because Randall
Right.
told him he'd
Yeah.
probably be opening the next day, so he might as
Correct.
well sleep over.
I love how he just screws him over at any possible attempt the writers just get him to do that to him.
It's very Looney Tunes, but also
Yeah.
very good. So they go to the pet shop, which Patrick Swayze, again voiced by Goffey, first claims he owns, and then gets yelled at by the manager, and then claims he's filming a movie called "Get the Hell Back Here." Also, there's a fucking elephant noise that goes.
Yep.
Randall threatens the monkey. It cuts back to Dante's like, "Oh, he's shaking." No, sorry. Randall's like, "Oh, he's shaking." Dante's like, "No, he's masturbating." Yeah, but it's out of fear. Leonardo walks in and says, "Oh dear, someone frightened that monkey." And I just,
Someone start. Oh, Chris, that is the best place for your for your camera to freeze. Oh, he looks so happy,
He does.
like a like a monkey in fear.
Hey, there we go.
Oh God, you gotta go back and rewatch that clip, Chris. It literally
Oh, God damn.
froze your camera at the funniest,
is
funniest
it,
moment.
where did it freeze story wise?
You, oh dear, someone startled that monkey.
yes, which again rules.
That immediately
I
made
also-
me think of two things. One, the Simpsons joke of,
Yeah.
maybe Bart should find out about sex the same way I did. Mister, the monkeys are killing each other. Having sex.
Sex.
Oh.
God.
Oh.
Amazing delivery. Honestly, because I'm here to do a photo shoot for Fortune 500 in a pet shop, People Magazine. Also in a pet shop. National Pet National Pet Month. So the clerks go back to the store. Moments later, fucking Leonardo, and we didn't hesitate to say the name of his helper man.
Mr. Fink?
Yes, he's an Odd Job reference, right?
Yeah. He's also really fucking funny in his delivery.
Yes.
The guy who voices him, do you both remember in Dogma the preacher at the church in Michigan or wherever the I forgot.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, that's him. I forgot his name.
Oh, okay.
Dan
He's in
Etheridge.
Dogma. Yep, Dan Etheridge. He's Dogma.
I thought you said Dan Average. Like that's an amazing fucking
Yeah.
acting name.
Yeah.
Right. So Dante goes to get Leonardo a bandage. Randall's holding the burritos. Leonardo eats the bad burrito, and was it fucking? Oh, was it Lando appearance? And then yeah, we have the Dustin Hoffman gag where we have Dorp Balloon where it's monkey plus bite minus burrito plus, and it starts to be damage. Dustin Hoffman, and then due to a recent lawsuit, we cannot use the image of Dustin Hoffman. Therefore, for the scene, we will be using Al Pacino.
Just like in that Al Pacino. I love that it comes back to the narrator's voice. Al Pacino movie.
Right. And then Leonardo, New Jersey is immediately put under quarantine. A scenario none of us are familiar with.
Not at all. I also love
Nope.
Randall's delivery of Dante saying we should go check the monkey out. Yeah, sure thing. If we should look at it if we're gonna have to kill it. Like Randall immediately jumps to killing the monkey.
Right. So yeah, he calls. Randall calls up the CDC, right?
Yes.
Yes. And bam, we're in a quarantine, baby. And hey, look, it's James Woods. Everyone boo.
Boo.
Boo. Boo. Boo. James, I never saw Outbreak. Was James Woods actually in that or no?
Yeah, they
no.
were in that. No, were
They
they?
were?
Were Jay and Bob?
No. Outbreak, the actual movie. It was
Oh,
James.
oh.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Let me double check.
So I know Dustin Hoffman obviously was. He was kind of like, because I read the
No,
book.
Kevin Spacey is in it.
Oh, hence the Kevin Spacey joke from earlier.
Yeah.
The...
But no.
Okay. So I don't know why James Wood is here, other than bad casting
They
choice.
had access to Disney money. Like literally, I literally think of something like Disney was like, "Hey, do you want James Woods in it?" And they're like, okay."
And then there's immediately a Tarantino joke, which is pretty fucking funny.
There are there are multiple good jokes, like one after another. I love the lot when they come in and they're like, "Follow me to command center. This is just a coffee machine. Welcome to the command center."
It's very Simpsons. It is a
Yeah.
very Simpsons joke. And then there's the line, "Let's move this burning up."
Please don't tell me you burned Dante yet.
Yeah, Randall really wants Dante dead at this point now for some reason.
Next comes probably my favorite joke. It's a joke so good they use it twice, and both times they're fucking nailed. The
Right.
chief of police gives a statement.
Oh,
Well, first
yeah.
the mayor
Oh.
gives a
Yeah.
statement, dressed in
Yes.
full Mayor McCheese costume,
Right.
and Al Franken actually gives as the mayor.
Right.
Starts giving a speech about the quarantine and the potential outbreak, and mentions that he was on his way to a costume party when he heard the news, but the zipper on his costume stuck.
Also, is this the first time we see Dante's parents in any media?
Yes.
Okay. You're also forgetting a little bit important close to series lore. Prior to this scene, we found that Mr. Ping is a robot, and he's here to that he has the list to kill the human Randall. Also, the line here, like they're talking about testing Dante and Randall, and here take your sexual history or two giggling girls, both of them played by Tara Strong, which is an amazing like non secular goof.
Is there any? When was the last time you had sex? A year ago. Quiet. Maybe we'll have sex with them. Ew.
Yeah, God, their reactions are again the big eyes with the heavy ink and the little pupils. So good. So after the oh, it's not fucking after the press conference, it cuts back. Leonardo's convinced he's dead, and they're going through photos for his fucking obituary. One, it's him hanging out with two dudes, and it's like this tailors you're gonna have with that. Then it's him half naked hanging out with two dudes. Is a perfect.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
It's the first one is him at Studio 54,
right,
with Elton John and what's his name? Ian
Maxone Graham.
Yeah. Who, like, there is a story behind that. This man was a writer on The Simpsons. I believe he was gay, very tall, and for some reason, one of the only pictures of this guy is like a picture taken of him in Greenwich Village with Andy Warhol, and there's just this tall guy in the background of the shot, just hanging out there, and it was this writer. So they were like, anytime we need to put they're like, this is one of the, again, jokes for free, where only, it's really funny, to the writer, and really only that, but he's like, he put him and Elton John in both of those shots, because they're like, he's like, I love that this writer was just in the background of, like, this really important shot of a really important time, and he's just chilling there.
Yeah, fucking. God, I love that weird fucking bit. Right. So there's that. Then there's the clerk's blood comes back and they're good. But James Wood doesn't believe in tests, which is much like actual James Wood.
Uh-huh. Also, by the way, the reason why Leonardo is so absolutely sick is because Randall sold him the now very spoiled and contagious and horrifying burritos as very expensive
rich people burritos.
I must have them.
Yes.
I must have them.
I also love the line once they told that they're gonna die, even though the test clears. I knew we'd die in this place one day. I just thought it would be at each other's hands.
Yeah.
And then, insanely weird joke. The government has permitted them to do anything they want for one day, so they go to the aforementioned Pfeiffer Civil War burger place. They ask for burgers with no ketchup 3 times, and finally write a letter of complaint saying that they had absolute poor service.
I thought you were asking for 3 burgers with ketchup. Can you just brush it off to the side with a knife? Dear sirs. The like sorry, go ahead. No, go for it.
I was gonna say that the drive up kid was Dana Gould, by the way.
Okay.
Who was Gex.
Okay.
And then he wrote some Simpsons or some shit. But more importantly, he's Gex.
He was also the person who introduced Dante and Randall in the 1985 segment.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
okay.
You're right.
Dana Gould. Wow. Dana Gould. Let's stop talking now.
But yeah. And they're like the anger and indignity in Dante's voice, I find really ironic given where Clerks 2 is going to end up going.
Yes. Oh God, yeah. So they're like, wait, instead of killing us, why can't we just make a cure for the monkey's blood? Jason's like, yeah, sure, that makes sense, I guess. They go get the monkey out of the fucking pet shop, but the monkey is gone. Where could it? I spoke with Jay and Silent Bob.
Mm-hmm. Also, should be noted by this point, Patrick Swayze has renamed his horse to Point Break.
Yeah. Yes. So Leonardo walks in. He's like, I feel good. I'm doing fine. Hey, do you want another burrito? Absolutely. And then immediately feels like shit again. Randall thinks everyone's a robot.
Apparently when that guy was delivering all of his lines, he would purposely put his hand on his heart to really get into character as robot Mr. Pink.
Right. I love that. Randall comes to the conclusion that he's always wrong. He's right about nothing. And Leonardo's New Jersey is gonna get nuked, as well as Leonardo, who's in New Jersey. Lando has an idea, and he's immediately told to shut up. The monkey has learned how to smoke now, by the way. I have this quote. I'm not sure the context was, even though what you say was, "It's only funny if you talk stupid." Oh, the fucking Jane Silent Bob decided to put a hole in the fucking bubble that's covering the town. Jay does it, sucks it out, does a little helium voice. Silent Bob does it and does nothing, and then it's only funny if you talk stupid.
Yeah, it's only funny if you talk stupid.
Yes.
So Dante says, "I know there's no virus. Name me one time you've been right about anything." Randall goes, "What about the time I said there's 2 great jobs down at the block of stores, excellent pay, huge opportunities for advancement, we'll do it for 6 months and move on." Oh my God, you're right. I am always wrong.
Oh God, yeah. No, when it's not being an outbreak parody, this episode slaps.
So they managed to get on the same ham radio frequency as the B-52 bomber that's coming to nuke Leonardo. We get a conference call from the chief of police, who is dressed as Constable Big Mac, who was, and probably my favorite joke of the episode, says, "I too, like the mayor, was on my way to a costume party, but interestingly enough, not the same costume party."
Interestingly enough.
This fucking bit is killer.
I can remove my helmet, though I choose not to because it provides protection from the virus.
Yes.
I will now take questions. Will this administration, from Steve Dave, will this administration ever bring the Hamburglar to justice? No. Yes, look, does anyone have a question about the deadly virus that could kill us all? Could the virus kill the Grimace? Nothing could kill the Grimace.
Killed the Grimace that line. God, why did the episode? Why did the episode have hands down?
Made even better when you find out that they had to actually talk to McDonald's about that line
Oh, what?
before they
Oh, they
could do
did?
it.
I wondered if they could, because yeah, they were using. Yeah, I was like, wow, they're skirting really close with this.
Well,
That
it's because
was-
it was at the time when McDonald's and Disney were doing cross-promotional items.
Oh, they were. I didn't
So-
know that.
Yeah, this was actually right at the time that I think the Animal Kingdom in Disney World was about to come out, and Disney was like the premier sponsor of it. So, yeah, I know it was after Aladdin, Disney and McDonald's finally did a big like. There's a Great Defunctland episode on it, where about the relationship between McDonald's and Disney. But still, he had to go ask them, for permission. The ABC censors were like, "We are not going to assume this. You have to ask." So they sent them it, and they replied back saying, "Feel free to use Big Mac. Feel free to use Mayor McCheese." What is the point? No, we don't. What are you? What's the deal with the Grimace? They couldn't understand. They were like, "Are you? Why are you trying to kill the Grimace?" And they had to like send memos specifying, "No, we're saying the Grimace is good because nothing can kill him. He's so powerful, and it's a good thing because he's powerful. So you should let us do the joke." Eventually,
"Okay."
they very confusingly agreed to do it, but they had to. I'm just imagining Smith and Mosier and the head writer and animator like sitting down like, how the fuck do we convince McDonald's to let us word a line that nothing can kill one of their mascots?
I wonder if they're like, okay, like they did like a fucking message board forum style debate. It's like, this is Superman, this is Goku, this is Batman, this is the Grimace. His power level is amazing.
Like,
Oh, that I understand.
Oh yeah, this is like, oh, that makes sense. You also forgot one of the best gags. This was before the clerk's still in the helicopter. Like Lando could fly the helicopter, and it's Lando standing there, and it's like, not you, Randall, other Randall, and White Lando sitting there.
I'm ready, guys.
God. Looking for. There's a fucking reference to a kid in a helmet, which is not great.
And it's not gonna get better.
No. James Tom Bob find out there's a fucking Planet of the Apes reference, because of course there is. Dante's got to talk to the bomber. The bomber. There's another Tarantino joke. There is another homophobic joke. The quick stop is being looted. All is still happening. There's a quick hard cut to a bunch of Dante's ex-girlfriends.
At the Dante's ex-girlfriend reunion and picnic.
Yes.
Where basically, in order to save Leonardo, because Dante basically appeals to this bomber, saying, "There is no virus here. We're all simple people. It was the prank of a degenerate with too much time on his hands." What, you mean Quentin Tarantino? Ha 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 ha.
Yes.
No, we assure you, there is no virus here. Randall grabs the microphone from him, and I'm gay.
Right.
I am not gay. Whoa, hold on now, son. Listen to me. It's all right to be gay, and I'm willing to disobey an order from my direct superiors if you can admit. He also says something like, to a line of like, it's perfectly natural, and people are gay all over the place. And as soon as he says that, the other pilot, his eyes just kind of widen a little bit.
Yeah. Not great.
Yeah.
Not great. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, the bomber was multiple Emmy-winning drug kingpin Walter White himself, Bryan Cranston.
Oh, fresh off his stint on Power Rangers.
And just starting Malcolm in the Middle, which I'm sure they make jokes that they're like, yeah, we probably on set were like, oh, good luck with Malcolm, you're probably gonna get canceled in 3 episodes. We're gonna live forever.
Clerks forever, Malcolm never. 2 years later.
So yeah, Dante says, yes, I'm gay. Immediately his parents are like, I knew it.
Right. The laughing science girls return. Sweezy, Sweezy shows up, and now he mentions his horse's roadhouse. We got a hard cut to the mole people the mayor was talking about.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the mole people.
Right. Jane, Silent, and Bob are busy dancing with the monkey, and Lando, the clerks return to normal. Lando finally has something important to Lando has something important to say, and is immediately cut off by science fun with Jane, Silent, Bob.
Really quick before we go,
Yes.
Jay dances to an old doo-wop song, baby.
Oh, okay.
What they wanted to do initially was to have him dirty dancing with the monkey to the song "She's Like the Wind" by one Patrick Swayze.
Right. I can imagine the rights are not clear up for that.
Nope.
Can't imagine why.
So yes, it goes to the Science Says segments. Chris, I'll let you take it from here.
God. So the first thing it starts off with is, I did. So I told him that will cost him $20. Which, holy shit!
Yep.
Holy shit! I generally don't remember what happens to this little girl going forward. So tune in next month to figure out, is this child a sex worker or not? Because I'm leaning towards the direction yes.
I'm leaning towards the assertion I ain't touching this with the 10-foot pole.
Fair. Charles Barkley is the first to arrive, and guess what Charles Barkley loves?
Science.
Charles Barkley loves science. Bad news, though. Jane, Silent, Bob hate Barkley. Barkley is immediately assaulted, beaten up, and they leave. Nothing resolved, and that's how this episode ends.
It is quite literally a shot-for-shot recreation of Sony beating up an abusive boyfriend from The Godfather, including a punch that was telegraphed wrong and kept in anyway.
That's funny.
So they were so intricately set to using that concept that they even kept in the shots that were technically wrong in that. And it just ends with, we do the science segment, says, got it,
Yeah.
and then just drive away.
I love that. Fucking love the Jane, Silent, Bob shorts, even though, like, there has to be a ratio of Jane, Silent, Bob in any Kevin Smith movie, otherwise it gets too silly. This is perfect, though. I love the fucking shorts. I'm excited for next month when we do 4, 5, and 6, and then the epilogues, because that's going to be a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, I have plans for the epilogues.
Oh, God. So one of the things we have some time to kill. It's come out that apparently Smith. Well, first off, Clerks 3 starts production in a few weeks.
Wait,
Yes.
does?
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm going to let you guys talk about that for 1 second. I just have to quickly use the restroom, so I'll be right
Sure.
back.
Sure.
It was announced yesterday that Lionsgate is going to be distributing Clerks 3.
How did they get Jeff Anderson back? Because I thought he didn't want to have anything to do with it, which is what was holding it up.
I don't know, but he's attached to it. Rosario Dawson's in it, obviously. Jane, Silent, Bob.
Wow.
It's good. The premise is Dante's still working in the Quick Stop, and they want to film a movie based on his life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm
not sure if it's gonna be any good. Will I watch it? Yes, absolutely. Legally, I have to now. But yeah, that starts that, and then Smith has been teasing a Clerks Family season revival on Hulu. I'm not sure how long if that's actually going to happen or whatever. I'd like to see that though. I think.
That's gotta be.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm so confused about who owns Clerks now.
I think Disney.
Okay, Disney still owns Clerks.
Well, I'm not sure actually. Hold on. Maybe for the animated stuff, because Lionsgate. Who owns Lionsgate?
Yeah, maybe Disney. Because as soon as you said Lionsgate, I was like, wait a second, hold on.
All right, I am back.
Oh.
Stars owns.
Oh,
We're trying to figure out. Okay, so Lionsgate is doing the distribution to for Clerks 3, but who owns Lionsgate?
I think it's its own thing. I don't think it has a.
Yeah, where's Clerks 3? Because
Where's
now
the-
Stars is a subsidiary of it, but it's. I think Lionsgate
okay,
is the.
yeah.
Lionsgate Films, formerly known as Cinepix Film Properties, is an American film production and film distribution studio headquartered in Santa Monica and founded in Canada, and is the flagship division of Lionsgate Entertainment. The latter was distributed by Disney's Touchstone Pictures since its first film.
Ah, okay. Right, because Lionsgate has acquired the worldwide rights to Kevin Smith's Clerks 3, which is in pre-production in New Jersey and will begin production next month. Smith has written the screenplay and will direct, with all major cast members from the first two Clerk films set to reprise the roles. Jeff Anderson, Brian Howell Bryan, Jason Mewes, Silent Bob, Kevin Smith, Rosario Dawson, and in Clerks 3, following a massive heart attack, Randall enlists Dante, Elias, Jay, and Silent Bob to make a movie immortalizing his life at a convenience store that started it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is totally off topic. I'm so sorry, but I know we got Gold Lewis Dickinson in as DLC. We just got an announcement 37 minutes ago that King of Dinosaurs is back in KOF 15.
Yeah!
Oh hell yes! Hell yes!
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Terry's friend, who is not Teascock.
Yeah, he's definitely not T-Zod.
No, he's Terry's dinosaur.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I love that they just put him in and it's literally like it's T-Lock, but he's wearing a dinosaur head now.
Listen, it's an upgrade. Anyone could be Kuzukato. Not everyone could be Dinosaur King.
I wonder. He must be with Ramon. I wonder if he's in.
Which, by the way, super fucking happy to have Ramon back.
I am too. Yeah, Ramon's really funny, and now he's not with Vanessa. He's not part of the secret agent team, so he must be with either. He must be with King of Dinosaurs and maybe Angel, or maybe there was that. There were a couple other characters from 14 that came up that may be part of their team. I'm excited for 15. I don't know if you all are. But...
We are a pro KOF channel.
Excellent.
Both Chris and Ray have done Terry and Rock cosplay in the past.
We've done Terry and Rock, and we've done Kyo and Iori. So
let's fucking go.
Yeah, I'm hyped. KOF, yeah, it's not like my favorite game, but like I have a very big soft spot for that franchise. So I'm hyped. Looks very fun. I'm already gonna stick with my three lousy mains, which is gonna be Terry, Kyo, and God knows who else. Anyway,
nice.
I actually, interestingly enough, I actually just got the Facebook reminders of on this day. 11 years ago, I got photos from our big fucking KOF group.
Oh my god! Yeah, wow. Yeah, I was Rio.
Max did Rio. I did Raiden.
That would what Otakon 2010.
2009, because that was the year that was the year me and Max both graduated college, and we decided to bring like 15 people to Otakon that year, which was a fucking mistake.
Yeah. One room?
Three rooms.
Two.
I think we had three. Yeah. It might have been two, but it was three because was it Vinny and Casey? We had to get shoved in Vinny and Casey's room, unfortunately.
That's right.
What, 2009, 2010?
2009.
Oh, I was there.
Oh, you were?
7 costumes. What the fuck was I wearing at that show?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was. I did 9. I did not. I did 6 costumes that con too. I did. I did Raiden. I did Dan Hibiki. I did the Coon, which was a bit of a fucking mistake. I did Umineko. I did Vulcan Raven.
I was Johnny Sasaki with you in that one
Nice.
too.
Yes, you were. God, I missed that, and I forget what the last cosplay I did. Oh, old Joseph, Arc 3 Joseph from JoJo's.
Oh shit.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell I wore in 2009.
Ooh.
Jesus Christ. Hold on. I'm going to my ACP trying to find out what the fuck I was wearing at the show. Anyway, it's 11 o'clock. Max, thank you so much for
Oh
coming
yes. Oh yeah. Thank you all for having me.
We'll have, yeah.
I think the
Go on,
one thing that we
Tyler.
can end. I think the one thing that we can end though, on a very very brief discussion is, while we were talking about nostalgia, and while we were talking about, we talked about a couple of painful things here and there during tonight. But you know what's more painful, than a couple of Randall's jokes? A bull charging you, and you being Johnny Knoxville.
Yes.
How the fuck are we all feeling about Jackass Forever?
I'm so excited.
I was literally screaming. The bit where it's just like, the harder you pedal, the harder the hand slaps.
I'm
and
so
dude getting
fucking hyped.
Whiffed immediately. That was very good. What'd you do to Eric?
By the way,
Yeah,
if you go, oh sorry, go ahead.
Go for it.
I was gonna say, if you go on Instagram and look at the trailer for that movie, you see Eric Andre left a comment saying, "This is a dream come true. I'm so excited. I couldn't believe this."
I'm so happy Eric
yeah.
Andre is in it. I'm so happy Eric
Yeah.
Andre is in it.
Me too.
Because it's been when did the movies come out? Jackass
they
the
were-
movie was 2002. Jackass the movie came out literally 2 years after Clerks the animated series.
I can't believe it's almost been 20 years since that first movie. We saw 3 in theaters together, right, Tom? Did we see
Oh,
that in
we
theaters?
definitely we saw that in full 3D with the full butt chugging explosions and everything.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I
can't.
So they're like, we're a little older, and I'm like, that makes it so much better. The fact that
Yeah, it
they're
does.
like,
I saw a bit where Knoxville's dressed as his character from Bad Grandpa. I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
yep,
Bad Grandpa, also excellent movie.
It is. The end of that trailer has like I can't wait to see what happens to Aaron.
Oh, the bear?
Yeah. I was just,
Oh god.
oh my god. Yeah, Jackass 3D was 11 years ago.
Oh, my bones.
That's
That
so
sucks.
that's so buck wild. That's so fucking
That
buck
sucks.
wild.
That sucks is my favorite reaction to anything.
My favorite thing about that when we saw it was the opening was Beavis and Butthead explaining 3D technology.
it was.
What?
That's
Really?
right.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I can't. That makes sense. I forgot they were also MTV. Totally forgot.
I'm also I'm expecting to get a little emotional, I'm not gonna lie, because, fucking Dunn and Bam being a hot fucking
Bam's-
mess, like,
Bam's not
Oh,
it.
yeah.
No Bam.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bam. I
Bumpy.
actually recently watched a YouTube documentary that was like the curse of Jackass, and everyone thought Steve-O would be like the roughest one if they ever did a Jackass 4, and no, Steve-O is like taking to sobriety like a fish to water, and like is probably the most hype out of all of them. Bam
Absolutely.
is the one that's like literally can't, like, his shit is so fucked.
Oh
Yeah.
no. What?
Yeah.
Can I ask what happened with Bam? Because I just never followed.
He's pissed off everyone, right? Also, he's also
he-
like
he's-
bad addiction problems.
Yeah, he is like literally he is a pure bottle of alcohol at this point.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, he's been in and out of rehab a bunch. Divorced twice, I want to say.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
on that note,
Sorry.
Yeah.
yeah, no,
I needed to know.
Bam's not in it, by the way, Trevor.
Yeah.
He's the glaring exception for reasons. He also blames all of them for his problems, which
No, buddy. You handle yourself. That's
All right.
it.
So we'll be back next month with this part 2. Back tomorrow night as well. Trevor's going to teach you how to spell iCup with some more Cuphead. And then hopefully I'll be back on Sunday. My internet will be fixed by then. I'll have a better provider, and I'll be playing y'all's choice of Souls board. I'm probably gonna do a test stream on my own channel tomorrow night, to make sure I'm working, and then
Good call. And
yeah.
Trevor was talking about Eric Andre.
Oh yes. All right, good. Yes, no, the opposite of Bam. Doing fine. Eric Andre, okay, possibly concussed again, but that's fine.
Yep. So I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I love doing these podcasts so much.
Yes.
And again, I watched all the episodes on Sunday night, and I'm like a little upset. I won't really have much to talk about other than the episodes themselves, which are good. But I'm like, I want to bring something special to this. And then in between, in the course of today, I unearthed so much shit. I haven't even played all my cards yet. I'm saving stuff for next month.
I'm so excited for more groups. Nice. I mean, also we can talk about basketball next podcast legally.
Yes, we can. Let's go ahead.
All right, so who are we rating tonight? We got Zal's doing New World, Jesse's doing Mass Effect, Beef's doing Control, Fate's doing Muzak.
We are gonna throw a raid to Zalora, who I know is testing out that new a beta for a new game, and I'm always down to give that a little bit of love. When you get to Zal's channel, sure to hit her with that year, hit her with that nut, hit her with that clapped. Think about everything Randall said. Get some Chris appointed faces up in there. We will be back tomorrow, and before then, Max, do you have anything you want to plug before we raid?
Oh yeah. Let's see. If you want to check out my stream, I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Mondays and Wednesdays are an art show from 7 to 8 p.m. Oh, sorry, 7 to 9 p.m. Where I will draw whatever. Honestly, that if you just throw me random words in my chat, and I will draw whatever word combination that is, and it gets really weird quickly. So come throw me a word. Thank you. And then on Thursdays I play games, and you can throw me game ideas, because otherwise I'd just be playing stuff that nobody else cares about, but I don't care.
It's good stuff.
I will keep playing God Hand. I'll just play God Hand all the time.
God Hand's a good one.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one. All right, we will see you all next time. Until then, punch a cop directly in the face. Bye.
Nugans.